Good morning, everybody, wherever you are. Thank you for making a part of your day a part of ours here on Hoop Spaces. Happy Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. You are now, I believe, in the third to the last Hoop Spaces show that'll be on Twitter Spaces. That's right. If you weren't with us in the beginning of the week on Monday, I announced softly here some good news for Hoop Spaces. We are taking the next step. I'll put out the official announcement on Friday. Spent the better part of the morning working out some equipment, trying to do a crash course to set up the new legitimate radio show that we just got put on a trial period to success. Just like LeBron James last night, 46 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. Hey, I know they lost, but my word, he's 38 years old putting up stat lines like that. It's amazing. Shout out to Cam Johnson in Phoenix coming back healthy. Had a phenomenal first quarter. Nikola Jokic, another triple double. We asked the question, who's the best team in the league, Nuggets or Celtics? Knicks bounced back against the Cavs. The Heat beat the Celtics, both teams without a lot of their players, and the Pacers pull out ahead of the Bulls. Shout out to TJ McConnell, 20 and 10 in the absence of one Tyrese Halliburton. All right, we'll be back in about 20. Got some men's and women's college ball and NBA to talk about. Please like and retweet the show card. Be back. Peace. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. We have a whole bunch of basketball to get to as I give a chuckle here. I see Evan Moore popping in here, changing his name to I Miss Kobe. Man, I feel for you. I'm going to give you a point for that. Let me know if you hear me. I've been toggling with the physical hookup with a whole bunch of new wires and stuff. So hopefully everything is coming through. We'll be getting ready to launch the actual radio show next week. Oh man, it's amazing. All right, shout out down below. All right, we've got Tony Vega to come in here with Evan Moore. Maybe he'll pop up here, talk some Lakers. I don't know what they're going to want to talk about. It is depressing to watch LeBron James's greatness be wasted, and we saw that again last night. We have CT Pittman in the building, the very first person to sign up to be a supporter of Hoop Spaces financially. If you don't know, you can head over to our Substack and you can sign up. $5 a month, $50 a year, or you can be a founding member at $200. All proceeds actually go to producing content. By the way, also on Friday, we will do a Hoop Spaces by the numbers on Twitter Spaces, and I think the numbers are going to shock all of you in a good way. All right, let's get to some college basketball first. Top 25 action coming at you from the men's side. And I tell you, we are going to start bringing a little bit more college basketball in starting next month as we go ahead and get prepped for March Madness. I'm talking to a couple people to see about maybe running the Hoop Spaces inaugural March Madness bracket. Um, Biggest problem, the biggest hurdle with that, I don't necessarily want to admin it. I've got a lot of things going on in the next 3 months that I need to focus on. I want to run it, but I also don't want to admin it. But we'll work that out. Men's top 25 action: Iowa State ranked 12th, upset Kansas State ranked 5th, 80-76 in Ames, Iowa. Texas beats Oklahoma State 89-75. TCU beats Oklahoma 79-52. And the Miami Hurricanes bounce back after a bad loss. They beat Florida State, who's in a down year, 86-63. Clemson in the top 25 at 24 defeats Georgia Tech 72-51. There you go. Those are the top 25 scores here in the NCAA men's team, or men's side. For the women, only 3 games, 4 games last night in top 25, centered around the best player not named Aaliyah Boston. That is Caitlin Clark. as the Iowa Hawkeyes shock and upset the Ohio State Buckeyes 83-72. Iowa's the 10th ranked team, and the Lady Hawkeyes have arguably the best player uh, in the game, not named Leah Boston. And if you want to argue, Leah Boston might just be more dominant, and Caitlin Clark actually might be better. 28 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists for the young lady who's starting to look an awful lot like Prime Harden. LSU, undefeated still, ranked fourth, beat Alabama. And this is a good Alabama team, by the way. They're 15-5. Most of their losses in the five come to high-ranked teams. LSU, though, man, they are on fire. 89-51 over the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Evil Empire, Yukon Lady Huskies, victorious over DePaul, 94-51. And the Indiana Lady Hoosiers over the Lady Wolverines, 92-83, a battle of top 15 teams in the Big Ten. Wow, excuse me. Wow, that hurt. I was trying to sneak in some water and then went down the wrong pipe. All right, if you want to come on up to say good morning, now's the time. Go ahead and raise those hands. We'll bring you up and we'll get our salutations on here. Likewise, I've asked every show, please like and retweet the show card. I find it funny. We're not going to have that problem coming up next week. We will still actually open up a Spaces room. It'll be a portal. What I'm working on now is the ability to simulcast here, so that we will give you a transition period for some of you who might be recalcitrant and downloading another app. But we're also going to get the link for you to actually download the AMP app through my link. So don't go ahead and download it yet. That way we can get some credit for it, so we can show the growth from here to there. So there's some housekeeping news and notes. I want to give a shout out down below to some people who make some great content here on Twitter Spaces, on Twitter, or just in basketball in general. Rels Pels is in the building. You can check her out on the Pels and Whistles podcast on the Believe Network. You have Cashspiracies and Flopaganda. Nets Twitter du jour hosts the pregame spaces. You can also catch them in postgame spaces with Saint, AJ, Brandon, Jay from BK, and a whole rack of others, such as our own Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod. Shout out down below as well to a couple of people who are new, who might not have followed here or have come up here. The NBA fan is in the building. Appreciate you stopping by. If you want to come on up, shoot a follow, like the retweet the show card, and we'll get you up here. We also have a couple other people down below I haven't seen before, so that's always good. To those who come in and just hang out and chill, like Don, appreciate it. You can come up, you can talk, you can share. Same thing with BMAC, all ATL sports. Like, we ain't gonna bite you. Y'all can come up. It's all good. All right, we'll go to our good mornings here. We've got first Micah. We'll go to Micah. Good morning, Micah.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, we still stink, but that's top of the morning. I'm sure we'll get to it. And but yeah, that's what we'll start with. We stink.
All right.
What else is
One of the things that will be a little bit different as we transition from Spaces to AMP. The radio platform doesn't allow as large of a stage, so we will be cutting it down. I'm thinking about creating a sign up sheet, whether it's through Sign Up Genius or something else, to help run the show, be a showrunner, so that way we can get people in and out. Because, like, one of the problems that we have is sometimes we'll have in upwards to 12, 14 hands up, right? Well, the stage is only 10. Stage is smaller over there. There's also no co-host. So we'll be changing some things, but that way it'll also keep up the lines open to allow more people to come in and out. So as we lay new ground and we continue to grow and learn, we're probably going to keep a time limit for those being able to be on stage, except for those who are like directly connected to Hoop Spaces, such as Malika, Sean, Cedric, those who produce content. Talking with Amazon to set everything up, it's really interesting on how they are going to be trying to redefine radio, and I'm very excited to actually be a part of that. We'll go next to Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. How you doing?
I am here. I've been working already for about 2.5 hours.
Just let you know I made progress. I'm out the hospital and I'm home right now.
That's good to hear.
Just like, starting that recovery and stuff like that. Knowing that I'm the blessed one, because investigations is up, but young girl died in the same spot that I got hit at. So just counting my blessings and and stuff like that. But it's always a good day when Philly and Brooklyn get together. So
Yeah.
I'm
All
up
right.
here.
Just remember about the oversharing, Joe.
Right.
we
Exactly.
we don't need to know anything about any investigations or a girl dying where they got hit. You gotta remember, when we move over, it's going to be more of a radio show. Not you got to be careful what you say, because more people are going to hear it.
Yeah, I understand what you were saying. We said that yesterday. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
no problem. I'm just trying to protect you. That's what this is. All right.
yeah,
It's protecting you, because if you end up getting heard by 100,000 people, then you might accidentally say something you don't want to say, and that's what I'm trying to do. All right, nip it in the bud before it starts. We'll go up next to Tony
appreciate you, Chris.
Ziga. Nope, appreciate you too. Tony, your Lakers lost, but we're not here for that just yet. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's not talk about that this early in the morning. I'm still drinking my coffee. It's a non-alcoholic beer, so I'm not ready for that conversation yet.
All
But
right.
I do appreciate it. I do have a question for you. It's not. It's. I heard you're doing the AMP. That's kind of like a radio show kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
But
So AMP is Amazon social drop-in radio experiment.
gotcha.
I signed a trial deal to run Hoop Spaces there, like I do here, to bring a level of legitimacy. We're making it more of a radio format. Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. Congratulations. The one thing I will say is, um, uh, does AMP support Android? Because last time I checked that, it's kind of like I can listen, but I can't join
Yeah.
a talk
I
host.
I honestly don't know. Like I'm still reading into everything. So like I am not the tech person. The tech person isn't in yet. And even if the tech person was in, the tech person would tell you we are not at liberty to discuss. So if you understand what I mean by that, sorry.
I understand what that means,
Yeah.
man, and I appreciate it, and that sounds dope. So yeah, looking forward for that.
Yeah. Hey, you should hit up our YouTube coordinator, Tony. His name's Justin, Justin Patton, JP the franchise. So you can hop aboard and start providing some of that good Lakers content you do here as well, because we're gonna continue to
Oh, cool.
grow.
Thank you.
Yeah, what we're looking for, and I actually I have to get with Evan and EK for the writing part, but what we're looking for also is someone who has 20, 30 minutes a week who can produce 2 or 3 reaction videos. That's it. If you can hang and do that, we'll be able to feature you on the website as well as the newsletter. So, like, if you're interested, let me know when JP pops in. I'll forward you two together so you can talk.
Yeah, sounds like a plan, man. Thank you.
All right. And with Evan down below, Evan, do me a favor. If I don't reach out to you today, DM me, because I meant to do it yesterday. I just got a lot going on. All right, we're gonna move next to Poppy Tavo, who's freeing the bands. Good morning, Poppy.
Good morning. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. Are those bands free
Man, I'm
yet?
trying, man. I'm still broke, but we're gonna get there.
Right? I'm right there with you. I'm looking outside like I got snow down there, and I'm like I want to pay one of these kids, and I ain't got the funds to pay one of these kids. You
I
know what I'm
feel
saying?
you. I feel you. Yeah, you said my name right, Poppy Tavo, or Octavian. I've come into your hoop spaces a lot. This is definitely the first time I've talked, and I'm trying to ingratiate myself to the spaces. I actually really like spaces for a lot of sports talks. And yours has probably been my favorite for the past year and a half now. So I appreciate you having me.
All right. Hey, we got the what we call the Bibbs Corner. Bibbs is a dope basketball creator. You can catch the Mavs outside of podcast. It's one of the best Mavs podcasts. And he did the same thing. He's like, man, I've been listening to you for months, never came up. Let me go ahead and come on up. So we're happy to have you. One thing that will change, like I don't ask like this. The notifications, like if you haven't set them yet, you're probably going to want to start setting them because there's only going to be so many spaces that I'm going to be able to open and simulcast, I think, before I'm going to be told to stop. So that way, when we do open up, because we'll still be Monday through Friday at 10, you'll see when I have the basically the link to hop into the AMP show, just like on Spaces. But hey, I get paid, which is awesome.
Cool. I appreciate that, man. You have a good one.
You too. Let me shoot you a follow back, and I appreciate the positive words, man. I really do. We'll go up next to Breeze. What up, Breeze? The Knicks bounced back. They beat the Cavs. Everybody was crying, Donovan Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell. But they need to be voting Julius Randle, like I said, like all year, All-Star season. Breeze, good morning.
Hey, morning, Chris. I would sponsor one of your snow kids, but I don't know the going rate. It used to be a nice little $20 flex for the kids to shovel the snow, but I'm pretty sure that ain't the going rate no more.
No, actually, no. It's 25, right?
It's 25.
It's 25. The issue is that 25 you would think would get that job done in like an hour, but it ends up taking like 3. You know what I'm saying? Like kids ain't built the same.
Yeah, they're getting expensive. They're getting expensive out here. But I wanted to sponsor one of your schools today. So I wanted to know: is it more frustrating to have the guy, but not the surrounding team around him, or have the surrounding pieces and not the guy on the team?
Oh, it is more frustrating to have all of the pieces without the guy.
You think
I
so?
Oh, absolutely. Like I would rather have the guy without the pieces, right? Because at least I can say I got the guy. I'm seeing the guy. I love the guy. We just need the piece. If you had Because the guy is going to be the guy for a lot longer than the pieces are going to be the pieces, right? So like if you take the Sixers, we had the guy. The guy's Embiid, and we haven't had the pieces. Then we get the pieces, but then Embiid gets hurt, and we no longer have the guy. And then we get the guy back, but the guy's still not, the guy because he's coming off an injury. And it's so frustrating because, like, last year's Phillies team, I think, was better suited for Embiid than this year's Philly team. The only difference is James Harden is covering up the ugliness with like his triple doubles and high assist rate. But like I look at the Sixers now, and I'm sitting here like we are winning with magic because we are winning 4-on-5. Once we get into a 7-game series with a team like the Celtics, a team like the Nets, or even a healthy Knicks team, if Mitchell Robinson's healthy, we have an issue because we don't have the pieces. But like if we had the pieces without Embiid, it would just be like a wasted opportunity. And that's what gets me the most.
I got you. I got you. I know we're still on the good morning part. I think it would be more frustrating to have the pieces though than the guy. Because to me, if you have the guy, then you're playing like chess trying to get the well, maybe the game is wrong, but you're trying to get the pieces right. So all you're doing is like seeing if the pieces fit, kind of thing. So I feel like it's an ever changing game with that. But I don't know. I'm just because I'm watching Luca, I'm watching like LeBron, and it's like, okay, you have the piece, but you don't have the pieces. Is that more
Well,
frustrating watching?
well, like, let me say it this way: the Miami Heat are a perfect example of this, right? Like, regardless of what your opinion on Jimmy Butler is, Jimmy Butler is an elite player. But the knock on Jimmy was, is he that guy, right? Or is he one of those high level pieces? And for the life of me, I've always thought of him as the high level piece, the Chris Middleton but better piece to Giannis, right? And if you look at Miami, they have gone as far as all of those pieces can do, and they're missing the one guy that takes them from borderline elite to punching people in the face elite, right? And they had it with LeBron. Now they don't. That's the difference. Justin Patton's in the building. JP the franchise. So there you go, Tony. He's down below. You'll see the Avi says JP. If you are down there as well and you're passionate about your basketball team, your NBA team, and you want to actually provide some content, if you're already a content creator, expand your portfolio. We are recruiting for reaction videos, just like JF Cake does. I was about to go to JF Cake. I don't know if he's ready. JF has hopped aboard. He's got Miami Heat in 5, giving you live from the 305 his takes on Miami. And he can attest to the actual simplicity of how we formulated this. So you can hop right in, follow the steps, and you will start being a content creator. JF, good morning.
Morning, Chris. First of all, why are we starting off with that statement? Jimmy Butler is the guy. Literally one of the only people that can go toe to toe with LeBron in the finals without the pieces. I would have to definitely say that Jimmy Butler is him. And we're just still looking for the pieces. If you ask us about our pieces, it's nothing but undrafted free agents. And there's a lot of other superstars that have way better pieces, or I guess you can say pieces that are about to progress towards something instead of us having to develop pieces. I think Jimmy Butler's deserved that title. But yeah, we got the Heat in 5 reviews and recaps. I got the 3rd episode coming out, Chris. I actually wanted to wait till after the Celtics game to have a good discussion about it. But yeah, we look good. I know we were missing Jimmy last night, but that still continues the campaign for Bam Adebayo for All-Star. I mean, if you are not on that campaign trail, I'm gonna have to question your morals and your principles. So yeah, Bam for All-Star, Chris.
All right, there you go. Bam for All Star. He's up there. But he ain't producing like Julius.
Stop. Stop it,
What?
Chris. Stop.
What?
I'm not
What?
having it today. I'm not having it today.
You might not want to have it today, but it's the truth.
But you're asking, okay, but now we can talk about how Julius Randle is more of a volume guy than Bam is. I mean, Bam has a way better shooting percentage than Julius Randle this year.
Here we
So
go. Here
I'm
we
just saying.
go.
I'm just saying.
If Julius didn't shoot 3-pointers and he just stayed in the mid range in the post, they'd be like the same player, but one is better defensively and one is better offensively.
Well, Chris says nobody scored more points in the point than Bam Adebayo, and that's a 6'10" 5. So
See,
you got to
there
give the
you
man credit.
6'9".
It doesn't matter. He scores more points in the paint than anybody. So that means he has gone above the narratives of the Brook Lopez and the narratives of the Robert Williams. Like, he is really taking out these East centers, and he's doing it masterfully. So all respects to Bam. He is an all-star, Chris, and no, Julius Randle. Nah, I can't look at the Knicks and be like, oh, they're good. I don't know. Julius Randle, yeah, he's doing what he has to do, but come on. Are we going to do this Andrew
Like
Wiggins
wait,
sympathy vote
what
every
do you
year?
want? He's for the month of January, by the way. Julius Randle is averaging 26, 15, 5, a steal and a block, all rounded up to the top number.
And that's where the Heat are caught in the middle, Chris, because like we're one team that we stay consistent on what we do and we progress up. We don't have a fall off to the point where if we do average, then we look really good. This goes for the Coach of the Year award with Eric Spoelstra He's been left out how many times in the last couple of years for what he's done with
Well,
this team?
you can argue the same for Doc, who has a higher winning percentage.
But he has Joel Embiid.
But you have Jimmy Butler.
Okay, see, you admitted he's in.
Well, no, I'm not admitting it. I'm saying I'm using your argument. Bam Adebayo for the month of January, 23 points, 12 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 2 steals.
And where are the Heat defensively as a team in January?
Well, the team's better defensively than the Knicks.
And I have to say, if you really look at it, Chris, like when you look at Bam Adebayo and his defensive play, you're gonna have to give some credit to Hayward Highsmith because he helps out a lot just to get relieve that pressure off of Bam. Like if you wasn't watching that game last night, then
look, all I know is that Julius Randle was 1 rebound away on Friday the 20th from having every game be a double-digit rebounding game. Bam Adebayo has 3 single rebounding games in January. I'm just making the case here. Like, I agree. Bam Adebayo is an all-star, but so is Julius. That's all.
I hate your disclaimers, Chris.
It's nasty. I know. We've got Coach Roach to get a Toronto point of view. Coach Roach, good morning.
Good morning. And to answer Breeze's question first, one example you want to look at are the 2019 Raptors. They had all the pieces, but no star. Once Kawhi came in, they had the star. They were able to put it together. In terms of, well, Chris, what was the other question that you asked? Was something about the Knicks or the Heat?
Oh, it wasn't really a question for everybody. It was just a back and forth with JF, right? Like the Knicks are 26 and 23, the Heat are 27 and 22, and the issue I have is people aren't respecting Julius Randle.
Randle's been balling, but I want to say this though, and I know Knicks fans will know better. Why aren't you playing Obi Toppin more? Why isn't Thibodeau playing him?
Because he's Rui Hachimura.
He's pretty good at shooting corner threes. Like, he's a great athlete too. I mean, I'm not saying that he should be playing 30 minutes a game, but I saw the other night he had like 11 points in 10 minutes or something like that.
So we'll let Breeze get into this a little bit later. Sure. The trade on Monday with Rui has set, I think, Obi Toppin's value. And the issue that I think Tibbs has with Obi Toppin is that he's an empty shell in what Tibbs wants to do. Sure, if you give him some time, he might get you some volume rebounds. He might give you 18 points every now and again. But he's a turnstile defensively, and he fouls too much still.
Right.
And like, he's not a big dude.
No, I see that.
Right.
I just want to make
So
go for it.
Go ahead. So I was gonna say, so you give Julius 36 minutes per game. If you sub in Obi Toppin, like if Obi doesn't produce right away, he gets yanked.
Right. Lots of news up here in the last 72 hours. Allegedly, OG Anunoby wants out of Toronto. It was reported by a journalist here. And Fred VanVleet has left his agency, so he's looking for a new agency to represent him. And we have all kinds of Gary Trent Jr. to the Spurs, rumors for Jakob Poeltl. I think.
Oh, man, you're cutting in and out.
But, I mean, there's a lot that's going on here. So I expect over the next week or 10 days, just before the trade deadline, that could be a lot of action for sure.
16 days or 15 days in the wake up to the trade deadline. Yesterday, news had been circulating. OG had a secret suitor who was willing to give 3 first rounds. For those of you who actually follow and pay attention when I put tweets out, because I put a lot of nonsensical stuff out there, I had been saying Toronto and Oklahoma City are going to be the ones who are trading back and forth with OG. And I said this like even back before the Raptors fans wanted to admit they had a problem, because Sam Presti sees OG as a missing piece to create his perimeter defensive lineup with Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous, and OG. That's what he wants, right? they're also one of the only teams who can give multiple first-round picks without feeling the punch because they have multiple first-round picks. They have so many picks, they can't even pick all of their picks. I'm going to use this time to hit this button because we're already halfway in the first hour. I want to say thank you to everybody down below. We appreciate you coming in. Change is coming, but change is not bad. Change is good. If you don't change and you stay the same, it gets pretty sad. Stagnation kills. Like, that's why sharks don't stop moving. So if you haven't heard yet, we're moving. Picking up a trial run pickup by AMP, the new wave radio by Amazon. It's going to be dope. So make sure you put on the notification, shoot a follow. And as always, we're brought to you by slamgoods.com. Malika Walker's done a great job. She picked up the NBA history and photographs. I think she picked up the second volume. There's still a first one she's going to pick up. And she was amazed. You can actually check it out on the timeline. I'll try to put it up here. She shared some of the photos. These are the best photos that they've ever taken. And it's dope. You can pick it up for like $30. Use promo code HoopSpace to save 15% and save enough money to get yourself a proper cup of coffee. And you can go to the HoopSpace's merchandise store and pick up your mug to put the coffee in, because I'm telling you now, your coffee will taste better in a HoopSpace's coffee mug. Two choices. Black and orange, white or orange. Both are dope. Both make your coffee taste better. Remember, promo code HoopSpace is over at SlamGood. Pick up that wonderful NBA and photos volume, and then pick up a mug so you can get that cup of coffee going. Also, powered by audiolabs.io. We're going to have to reach out to them. You can catch all of the spaces that we have had recorded, unedited, so you can hear in context the entirety. Also, partnered with Playback TV. We were originally set to actually go live again with Playback today. But with the news with Amazon, I have to pull back. So there's other stuff now that I got to get finished. There. You'll be seeing me open up random spaces. They'll say test. That's me trying to figure out how to get it the way I want before we go live. All right, there you go. Well, we had basketball last night. Some was good, some was bad. All of it was very entertaining, except for one game, the Suns and the Charlotte professional basketball team. That definitely was not an entertaining game. But we'll start off with the Indiana Pacers beating the Chicago Bulls in a much-needed win to get them closer to 500. Since Tyrese Halliburton went down in injury, they've slid 116-110. Pacers are now 24-25. Bulls are 22-25. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on the Bulls. I'll get a tweet out there so you can respond to it if you're not up on stage. In the standings, the Indiana Pacers have slipped all the way down to 9, but they have a 2-game advantage on the Bulls because of the way the schedule works out. The Bulls are 10th, and the Wizards are right behind them, half a game out of 10th. And then you have the Raptors behind them. You have the Miami Heat beating the Boston Celtics 98-95. Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum were battling back and forth. 31 for Tatum and 14 rebounds. Bam with 30 and 15. The Knicks beat the Cavs 105-103. Donovan Mitchell 24, 8 and 8. Julius Randle 36 and 13. Not only is Julius Randle an all-star, Julius Randle right now, production-wise, deserves an all-NBA spot. And when you look at production-wise, you're going to be surprised at the names he's ahead of. My prediction, he makes the third all-NBA team, probably should make second. The Denver Nuggets hold on to dear life in the fourth quarter in NOLA as they beat the Pelicans 99-98. Jokic 25, 11, and 10. Jose Alvarado 17 in the loss. The Wizards shocked the Mavs 127-126. Another 40-point Luka game wasted. 41, 15, and 6. Kyle Kuzma 30 points in the victory. Spencer Dinwiddie talked with reporters at the end of the game on post-game availability. Kuz took a shot right at him on Twitter saying they don't play winning basketball. The Suns beat the Charlotte professional basketball team 128-97. Shout out to Cam Johnson coming back from injury, had a perfect first quarter, 24 finishing in the game. Terry Rozier, 19. Chris Paul is back. And ladies and gentlemen, the Suns are starting to creep back up, 25 and 24. And I feel better because I was really getting worried that I was going to be wrong when I said the Phoenix Suns weren't going to lose 20 games. Now back on pace to get about 47 wins, 48 wins, which would put me right. So I'm happy about that. We'll talk about the Charlotte professional basketball team in a minute, and then the closeout game. I only made it to the first through to halftime because like it was late. The Clippers just dog walked the Lakers in the first half. It was bad. Okay. Like by the time I turned this game off and head upstairs, I felt like I wasted a half hour of my life. 77 points in the first half for the Clippers against 54 for the Lakers. The Clippers cruise to an 18-point victory, 133, 115. LeBron James, 46, 8, and 7. Like, I want to say this again 46, 8, and 7. He is 2 years younger than me. And he is out there on a professional basketball court, the toughest, most talented league on the planet, playing against arguably one of the toughest defensive matchups he will ever have in his career, having to go between Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and he puts up 46, 8, and 7. If you cannot appreciate that, you may leave the space because there is nothing but love and adulation to LeBron. That's just phenomenal. Kawhi Leonard, 25 and 9 in returning for I think now 8 games straight, where Kawhi Leonard has performed above expectations from the first half of the season. All right, there you go. Your scores across the globe in basketball here, men's and women's college, NBA. We will start first though with the Bulls and Pacers. It's the first game that I watched. It was here in Indiana. TJ McConnell, I think, is the perfect backup point guard. I'd always wished that the 76ers had picked him back up. He also fits a myriad of other teams like the Clippers, the Lakers. I never understood why people did not kind of go after him when the Pacers were down and out in the offseason. He led the squad, 20 points, 10 assists, 3 steals. Miles Turner had a 26.9, Buddy Hield 19, DeMar DeRozan 33. But man, Zach LaVine is just not that guy right now. 0 for 7 from deep. He had a good 2-week spell, but he's back to struggling. So there you go. If you watched any of that game, we want to hear what your thoughts are there. Then we'll go next to Celtics and the Heat. We'll go ahead and go to JFK so we can break this down. 98-95. Bam Adebayo making his presence felt. JF, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Chris. Yeah, excuse my son. He's making some noise right now. He's just getting some food. But yeah, last night was an interesting game, Chris. The one thing that is Miami is we're always gonna have an ugly game, and if you're a team that ends up playing in an ugly game with us, it doesn't look good for you guys. I will say it was a battle between Bam Adebayo and Jason Tatum, like what we saw in the bubble, and again, Bam rises to the occasion. The last possession, I believe, before the foul or whatever it was, we were able to play defense on Jason Tatum, and I think that's where I understood, what Luka goes through on a nightly basis. Because, like, for Jason Tatum to have those guys like Peyton Pritchard play basically all game, it was pretty tough. He didn't have any shooting available unless it was Derek White, who went off for 23. But I understand what Luka goes through, and that's why I kind of have to value Luka a little bit more than I do, Jason Tatum at the moment. But going for last night's game, the best thing that I saw was, not only Bam Adebayo, but the whole team was generating some type of play, whether it be on offense or defense. And I think we're creeping up closer to the April mark where we're starting to see teams gel and stuff like that, and it's looking good for us and how we're gelling together, especially without Jimmy Butler. Unfortunate that fan that came all the way from Argentina to see him, he wasn't there last night, but he left the arena with some good stuff. They did rename the arena, Chris. It's called the Miami-Dade Arena. So it's no longer the FTS. It's not going to be the boom boom room or whatever anybody had it for. But yeah, last night's game, we could have lost that game. We were really down by 15 plus. Certain times of the game didn't look offensively good whatsoever. But I think the efficiency of Bam was there, good enough for us to go. But just going over some of the numbers last night, Chris, like if you really look at it, Jason Tatum had 34, Bam had 31. But I still think Derek White and Robert Williams still gave him a good handle with Grant Williams. And Robert Williams showed that Bam is able to go against these Eastern centers. Like I said, show out against them. But one of the key things, Chris, is Hayward Highsmith, 15 points, and also Oladipo with 12 points, and Max Strus with 13 points. Those are basically our three guys that are coming off the bench. So if they're averaging around that, I kind of like how we have an 8-man rotation. I understand Caleb Martin didn't do so good, but he only got like 11 minutes. And Tyler Hero, I understand he only got 9 points, but a lot of things that he does is set Bam up so he's able to make those shots. And to be honest with you, some of the most important scores that Tyler Hero did get off was the first shot, which helped us get into an offensive rhythm, and one of the last shots, which helped us, get a lead in front of Boston. But I think just us playing some of the best defense in January helped us close out the Boston Celtics. They only scored 13 points in the fourth quarter compared to our 23 points. So I think that was the biggest difference of the game. A lot of it was kind of close, but except for like since I think before halftime that we were down by like 10 or something like that. But, the game was the game. I still think if they had Brogdon, Smart, and I forgot who else was out. Oh, Hartford. I think if they had them, it would have probably been a different game. If we had Jimmy, it would have probably been a different game. But for us to go 2-2 on the season series, I'm okay with that because the only game that they did blow us out was when Jason Tatum had 40. But other than that, it's been a close game, and the Heat have been able to close out those close games against the Celtics. So, like I said, we don't look that good. Considered a roster depletion on the 4th spot. But I think once it comes playoff time, it's going to be very dangerous because as long as we got Eric Spoelstra, which is the top 15 coaches of all time, we're going to look good. And as long as we stay healthy, we're going to look good. But my one thing, do you see Kyle Lowry getting traded to the Clippers? Because there's been rumors going on. Yeah, I figured.
No.
They don't have anything that's so too appeasing for me to want to grab.
Why would they trade for Kyle Lowry when they have John Wall? They do the same thing.
That's what I was saying, Chris. But earlier today in the space, they're saying all they needed is a guard. Well, I was like, wait, hold on. They got Reggie Jackson. They got John Wall. They got Terrence Mann if he wants to play that spot. So I'm not sure why they're asking for Kyle Lowry. I just kind of wanted to dead those rumors because that's not one team I expect to trade with.
Yeah, no, I don't see the Clippers really wanting to go after Kyle Lowry for two reasons, right? The first reason is if you look at John Wall, he's providing on average like the exact same thing, and he's going to be making 24 mil less. Second, the contract is different. John Wall's out by the end of the year, if not even earlier. Kyle Lowry's got 2 years after this. And I think if the Clippers don't do it this year, like I think they take one more year, but they're not going to want to take one more year with a 37-year-old Kyle Lowry. I just don't see that happening.
But then you mentioned the contract, John,
$24 million difference. So when you're speaking on
you kind of broke up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so John Wall is compared to Kyle Lowry is like a $24 million difference. Was there somebody else like? I can't even say Nicholas Batum is somebody I would want to take because his contract's too low too. Like,
yeah, they would have to give up Reggie Jackson and Nick Batum. I think that equals 21 mil. You have to be within 15%. So then they would still have to add
like
their contract.
Yeah.
So it's just not it's just not going to happen. And the longer that the Miami Heat hold on to Kyle Lowry, the more upset Miami Heat fans are going to be.
Well, Chris, I'm not upset because at the end of the day, like, I can't even lie. Like, the games that are being presented to us, like, we can't even talk about, like, oh, if they had this, if they had that. No, the game is played, and whoever's there is there. Like, we've been able to win those games. Like, we have some ugly losses, like Detroit, the Spurs, and even Atlanta on MLK Day. But, you know, I still think the way that we're matching up against these teams that were in the finals and playoffs last year, we're actually doing a good job. Like, we have we split between the Celtics. I think we have a decent record against Golden State. Like, none of these teams are blowing us out like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think we can all credit that to the defense being played, but I would love to see another scorer on the team. And I think it's tough because we're probably going to look for either a big man or another scorer, but I think we're going to go big man. That's a little bit more consistent than Dwayne Dedmon. And I don't know if Dwayne Dedmon has any value, but if anybody wants a shooting,
He doesn't.
if anybody wants a shooting 7-footer, that'll give you a good 10 minutes, a nice little 10
Would
minutes.
you be interested in a Serge Ibaka from the Bucks?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a vet man.
You're talking to
they're the same.
We already had Luol Deng, so like Serge Ibaka would be good with another Luol Deng.
They're the same. Like at
The
this
Clippers
point,
are trying to recreate the 2019 team because they've had interest in Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet, and they want Serge Ibaka back after doing that 4-team trade with the Bucks and the Warriors. And I'm like, you already had him, and like you realize that, and like he's on a vet man, and this is more or less his last chance to prove that he's still a guy before he more or less transitions into a music career for good.
well, there is no last chance. Like, if you cannot make the court in Milwaukee when you have both Chris Middleton and Giannis out, you're not making the court anywhere else. Like,
that's what you get for trying to wake up Giannis from his nap on a show that only Canada sees. What can you say?
You know, actually, there's a couple of shows in Canada that only Canada sees unless you actually stream it on the computer. One of them's a good cooking show, but hey, I digress. The Celtics, a lot of people, I say a lot of people, JF really, they wanted the Cat to go out to the Celtics, but this isn't a bad loss. They were out without Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. I think if they get those two players back, it's a totally different game, even if Jimmy Butler is there. I do want to say your Tony Snell award winner of the evening was the Boston Celtics. Sam Hauser, 26 minutes of nothing. 0 for 6. Nothing. Nada.
Great one, Chris.
Such a disappointment. Jason Tatum, 31, 14, and 7, but he also had 7 turnovers. And I say again, I do not believe the Boston Celtics can win a championship if Jason Tatum is going to be that ball dominant and have that many turnovers. Like, it's unsightly.
Chris, the Celtics had 17 as a team total, so there you go. And they want to talk about Jaylen Brown.
Well, I mean, if Jaylen Brown, like, he just has bad turnovers. Like, Tatum has more. Yeah, he does have big feet. It's the foot problem. Exactly. All right. We also have from last night, the Knicks and Cavs. We'll get into that now. Probably get into that later when Sean with the W can pop back in. But we'll go to Breeze so he can go ahead and bask in the greatness of Julius Randle as the Knicks have started to turn the corner once again with the returning of their players to health, except for Mitchell Robinson. 105-103 over the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have quietly been quiet. And I like saying that because people are like, what do you mean quietly been quiet? Well, you can be quiet and still be seen and heard. And the Cavs haven't been that, yet they're still 29-20 after this loss. Jared Allen, 12 for 17, 24 points, 12 boards. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell combined for 46 and 14 with 6 steals. But it highlights once again the lack of development offensively of Evan Mobley. He had 12 points and 7 boards. Defensively, he was good. And then that was it. That was it. Because Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro, they ain't it. And the Cavs desperately need a shooter. That is probably what they're going to trade for next. I believe that they'll end up trying to go for the likes of maybe Bohan Bogdanovic, but they don't think they have the horses. They've been linked to Tim Hardaway Jr. I think that they actually pick up Dougie McBuckets or Jason Richardson or both from the San Antonio Spurs. That is what I see for the
I
Cleveland
think Terrence
Cavaliers.
Ross is somebody to look at.
He is. I think they would go because they want to get two players. And if you make the trade for Richardson and McBuckets, you can put Karis LeVert, who's making 17, and you could put in either G.D. Osman or Isaac Okoro, and you equal the salary needed. Whereas if you do it with Orlando, it's going to be a 1-for-1, and it's more than likely going to be Okoro because LeVert makes too much. So that way, if they do it they'll get Jason Richardson, who they can put in the starting lineup, and then they put McBuckets out there, and then that'll give them a shooter in the starting lineup who's an adequate to above average defender, and a shooter on the bench. We'll get Breeze back up. He's having some issues. The Knicks last night, Jericho Sims got the start. I think that surprised a lot of folks who don't watch Knicks games because Isaiah Hartenstein is who I told Knicks fans he was. And I don't think that's going to change. Although there is a precipitous drop off when Mitch is not up there. Breeze, you're going to have to exit out and come back in. It's not letting you up. Jalen Brunson, 14-4. RJ Barrett, 16 points. Quentin Grimes, 10. But the game was carried and won by Julius Randle, 36 points, 13 boards, and 4 assists. I don't know if Breeze is up on stage. Breeze, you here?
Hey, Chris, can I ask who McBuckets is? I'm just trying to get the reference point.
McDermott.
Boo.
You don't remember Dougie McBuckets out of Creighton? Low key?
Yeah, I do.
Low key would be a good fit in Miami because he can at least make shots, unlike Duncan Robinson.
Oh, wow.
Chris, you can't talk about an injury.
Because he's white and he can hit a jump shot?
No, because he's actually going to hit his jump shots, whereas Duncan Robinson is not hitting his jump shots this
he's
season.
hitting those podcast metrics. Let me tell you that. I actually don't know if he's hitting them either, by the way. That's crazy.
He is.
Chris, I can't tell. Yo, Chris, check Shams when you can.
All right, too many people talking. Tony first. What were you saying?
Oh, yes, just check Shams. Something about Milwaukee. Seems like
Shams?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, JF.
Say Doug McDermott ain't nothing but another Jimmer Fredette.
Well, no, because he's had a career and signed 3 different contracts. Jimmy Fredette has not had a career and signed like 10 days.
That's tough.
Bobby Portis out with an MCL sprain, likely out a month.
That is tough.
Bobby Portis, top 5 in the NBA in double-doubles, top 15 in rebounding. That is a blow. And you know what? Serge Ibaka ain't walking through that door.
I mean, but that's tough, man. Like, remember earlier this year, Chris, when we were talking about like this whole thing with Brook Lopez, and he didn't know if he could last. That was your point, and I agreed partly. But now it's just like Brook Lopez has probably become the most second-worthy, trustworthy dude for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, at least
I still think it's Holiday.
Okay, fine. Well, I also just meant like out of this. So like third still, like
yeah. Oh, he's definitely ahead of Chris. Chris Middleton, I think, is done for the season.
Like that's the thing too, right? Like. I remember you were kind of on the other side of the fence where it's just like, we'll see, time will tell. But nope, it's like, okay, Chris has slowly become the biggest question mark out there.
Yeah, no, I since the offseason, they're like, oh, well, he's going to have this surgery. He'll be ready for training camp. The moment they said, well, it's going to be a couple weeks, I'm like, he's done. Like, this is, like, it's the same thing similar to, like, Lonzo Ball. Like sometimes you just cannot rehab an overuse injury.
Windows in the NBA are so short, man. They are so short.
And like, you know how much flack I got for asking that question?
What question?
Like, is the Bucks championship window closing?
Yeah, it looks like it's closing right in front of their face, man. Free Giannis, by the way.
I got yelled at by someone on their social team. Like, sorry, man. Like, ugh.
So, Chris, where would Giannis land if he were to leave Milwaukee?
I already told I have one spot, and it would break basketball, and that's Dallas. Or that's it. That's my one location I really, really want, man.
I would actually say the Warriors.
Oh, that will also break basketball. All right.
So like imagine you are Bob Myers, and word through the grapevine is Giannis wants out. Like, you don't think Bob Myers calls Milwaukee and says, "Hey, I've got Wiseman, Moody, Kuminga, and a contract. Like, who do you want? You want Clay, or do you want Poole?" Right? Just to team up Steph and Giannis. That would be nasty.
Like, my thing is too, like, everything for Giannis isn't how good he is. Like, he's clear, like, the number 2 kind of offensive advantage creator. Like, I always thought his best role offensively was when he was, like, in an Anthony Davis type role with Bron. So, like, if you gave him anybody that could actually create, like, a positive advantage, like, a la Steph, a la Luka, and he's really just, like, a secondary scorer / creator, that's just, like, a really, really dangerous spot.
Or even Atlanta. Like, could you imagine
like another primary creator like next to him? Yeah.
Oh, it would be worse because they would have Trey and DeJounte, and then like you're moving out probably Collins, Clint Capella, AJ Griffin. Like, you can move everybody, and like just say, hey, we got 3 max dudes. Let's fill them up, fill around with shooters. Breeze is back. We're gonna head back to this Knicks and Cavs game. The Knicks come out on top over the Cavs. A lot of people in Knicks Twitter throughout the offseason and the beginning of the season have lamented the fact that they could not bring home Donovan Mitchell. Although I'd like to remind those Knicks fans, he's from Connecticut. Just saying. 105-103. Julius Randle, the hero that Gotham needs. Breeze, go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. Solid dub yesterday. Solid dub. Have you been turning on any Knicks games for any point of this season, you would know they've been having issues with full teams, teams that don't have injuries, and they've been having issues closing games. So yesterday, Cavs were full. They had all of their pieces. We were missing Mitch Robinson. Jared Allen got everything that he wanted in the first half. Julius Randle was carrying us most of the night. And then it came down to the Knicks building the lead and losing the lead like they always do, and finding a way to close. So I think it was a solid win yesterday. Nothing to get too excited about, but people had us pegged as losing like 10-12 to like we're gonna lose damn near the rest of the games until February, and I was just like, damn, that's kind of hard to project. But if I know one thing with the Knicks is the unknown. So anytime I feel like I have a pulse on this team, something happens, and I'm like, that's pretty new information. So that's good. Bayo quickly figuring out how to pass and shoot off the bench. Because Obi, despite the not getting very much minutes, hasn't been able to get really too many touches off the bench, and that's due to in part Immanuel Quickley being the whole offense for the bench scoring. But nothing to get too high over, nothing to get too low over. Julius Randle should at least at this point earn some type of respect from you if you're watching him, because despite if you like him or not, the numbers are there. So that's what I got for that, Chris.
All right. The numbers are there. Like him or not, he's an all-star. Like him or not, he is an all-NBA selection. Got a couple of DMs. The review is here. The issue that we're having is we're kind of changing it from what it was for this show here on Spaces to be a little bit different. To give you an idea of what this is like. Wednesday had like 11 games, right? and I watched 7 of the 11 basically from start to finish, and then I watched the offensive possessions for the other 4 in the morning. I did about 90 minutes at night of setting out the outline, and then I woke up at 4:45 to finish the bulk of the newsletter. As we start recruiting more people to provide these reaction videos, we're going to have a centralized recap covering the entire night. That way, I won't have to spend the 2.5 hours of writing. It'll cut it down to maybe an hour, so we'll be able to do it more consistently. And then, as again, we start recruiting more of these reaction videos, you'll be able to get your breakdown in a video form. And we're going to get it down to where it's about 5, maybe 6 minutes, so that it's conducive to your mobile life. Like we're not trying to have you sit in front of the phone for 12 minutes. We do have an opening for Knicks, by the way, which is surprising and not surprising. Shout out to Live from the Mecca. They just got a lot going on. So if you are a Knicks fan, aka Breeze over here, who also has his spaces, you might want to consider doing some videos, man, and hopping aboard. Just make sure you reach out to Justin Patton, JP the franchise.
Maybe I will, Chris. Maybe I will.
You like what I did there? Right? Shout you out, prove to you like I respect your work. Make sure you shoot Breeze here a follow. He does good talks, with a little bit of New York swag. It's good stuff. Shout out to Dia Miller, who's popped in here. The Trailblazers started out hot, and now they're not, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Anybody else want to hop in here while we talk some Knicks and Cavs? If you caught the game, we'll end up moving on really quick if you didn't.
I just want to ask: are the Cavs pretenders, Chris?
No. But if you've heard me, and I've said this, and some people remember, I said the only way the Cavs are going to be legit title contenders, they learn how to play the offense through the middle through Evan Mobley.
I still think Evan Mobley.
Not around Donovan.
I'll chill. Never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm good, man. Yes.
What do you
yesterday
mean?
I said something. I'll chill, bro. We're good.
I look at it like this, right? Darius Garland is the better point guard, and yet for some reason, Donovan Mitchell is being more Donovan Mitchell, and that's not necessarily good for the Cleveland offense. So, in order to achieve better balance, they need a third person that they can funnel in, about maybe 40% of the offense.
So I'll ask this
defense
question because I agree with you, and I think we're kind of getting at the same point here. If you went down the Cleveland roster, just up and down players 1 through 10, if I asked you how many two-way basketball players they have on their roster, what would your answer be?
4.
Who's your 4? Just the starters? Donovan?
Mobley, Garland, Mitchell, and LeVert.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jared Allen. Anyways, I think...
No, Jared Allen gets put back.
I think my biggest thing is they need, especially when it comes to the playoffs, right? Like, your first 2 options are basically out the window in playoff series. Like, your first 2 guys, they're basically getting schemed out. You always need your third one. It's just going to be, can Evan Mobley consistently hoop? Like, can he consistently become somewhat of a tertiary level scorer for them? My answer is still no. But if
he doesn't need, but see, the issue is he doesn't need to score. Like, there's a player right now doing exactly what Evan Mobley needs to do. Do you want to guess who it is?
Jokic, but Chris, that's still
no. He ain't Jokic.
Jesus Christ, Jokic.
He ain't
That's
Jokic.
disrespectful.
I'm just saying because he doesn't play no 5. He kind of plays like a more of a 4.
Yeah, I think a little bit harder, JF. Like, you went straight to diamond tier. We're not at diamond tier yet.
I'm guessing your answer is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr.
No. Anybody else want to guess?
East or West?
No,
JF. You already had a guess. Anybody else?
Oh, my bad.
I can't give you a kill, then it becomes too apparent. Nobody?
Vanderbilt?
Alperen Sengun. Like, if you see how they play the offense through him when he's cutting in the middle, they take away the need for him to view the entire court. They say, hey, look at the corners, look at the cutter. If he was just able to do that, he would walk out the gym 15-10 with 5 assists easy. And then that that would force the defense to overcommit, right? If he swings to the wing, then you do your reset, whip around the corner, and then Donovan Mitchell's open for a 3 on the wing, right? Or Darius Garland is open for a 3 on the wing or a driving kick. Like it all has to come through the middle, and he's just not good enough yet.
So you're saying he has to switch his game to more European-centric game?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I find like you're going to need to do if you're going to be playing with 2 guards who are ball dominant. So like if you look at Houston, like the reason why they have some of these good nights is because they also have 2 guards who are ball dominant who think they're shooters, and Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. And in order to provide balance for the entire team, when Alperen Sengun gets the ball and gets going, the entire team is better. If you give it to Jalen Green, he might go 16 for 24 and give you 41 points, but your team's, not good. Make sense? All right. Knicks take Jake is up here. We'll get his take on the Knicks. We'll get Breeze's response, and then we'll go to Micah as he probably will say, I wish Julius Randle would come home to Dallas. What up, Jake? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Chris? Good morning. Hope
Morning.
everybody's doing well this morning. I'm going to need you to cut Breeze's mic, though. He's a verified, licensed instigator. He don't need no response to what I'm about to say. But no, I'm actually not up here to do my usually friendly fire on the Knicks. Just some observations about what's going on with the Cavs. I mean, maybe a little bit of friendly fire, but it kind of reminded me a lot of the Tom Thibodeau system, if I'm being completely honest. It looked like all night they weren't sure what they wanted to do. In the second half, they kind of figured it out a little bit more. Tom Thibodeau implements a system where, I know it's 2023, but we decided that we want to pack the paint, force the ball out, and hope wide open threes miss. I don't know. Somebody can explain to me why that's a good game plan. Let me know. Still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I felt like the Cavs were kind of struggling to figure out what they wanted to do last night. And I'm just curious what everybody's opinion is. I know there was some talk about Evan Mobley. It feels like, sorry, car driving by. It feels like they're just kind of in no man's land every possession. It's like somebody pointed out there's a stat that the Cavs actually take the second lowest amount of field goal attempts in the entire league. So, they just dribble the air out of the shot clock every play. It feels like they're just trying to force the issue, looking for something. And I like the idea of modeling Evan Mobley's play style. I don't know if there's a lot that is built into that system though that would give them those kind of opportunities. I know it's something that needs to be a point of emphasis, but I mean it was I don't know. There were stretches last night. I was watching the Cavs, and I'm like, yo, this looks like Tom Thibodeau's coaching this squad. It was looking pretty rough. So I'm just curious if anyone else has any sort of input on what's going on overall with that Cavs system.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I just when I don't know. It was I guess there were cars or a plane driving by or flying by. It was loud for me. I couldn't hear for a second. Yeah, no, my take has been the same for the entire season. That the only way that the Cavs are going to make this work is by developing Evan Mobley, because Jared Allen is not that offensive a player. Isaac Okoro had a great game for Isaac Okoro. He had 9 points and 5 assists and 6 rebounds, but he's just not the shooter they need. And I think maybe if you get a third shooter, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing, right? Because the issue with the dribbling of the ball is that they know for a fact if they give it to Isaac Okoro, the likely chances is he's going to miss the three. Dean Wade hasn't hit him. Osman hasn't hit him. Rubio's not a three-point shooter, and he's coming back from injury. And LeVert, he hit 2 for 4 last night, but he's not a 3 guy either. So if you had another shooter, it makes it a little easier. and then you can have ball movement with reversals. But it really is set up for Evan Mobley to be Hakeem light, to be Giannis light, to be Julius Randle light, a player who can dominate 15 feet and in, and also pass the ball, right? And then you start, working his 3-point game around year 4 or 5. I don't know. It's really wonky for me. Breeze, then Micah, then Chris.
So I always kind of like the roster construction of the Cavs team. The only thing that I knew would be their downfall would be the 3 position. So yeah, Isaac Okoro's what, 6'4"? If anybody knows.
Yeah, he's magically shrank. I remember when he came out, they listed him at like 6'6". I would say he's like Norm Powell, so he's like 6'4" and 3/4.
Yeah, so you got your 1, 2, and 3. That's just like the average height of what, 6'2", 6'3", kind of. And that's not really going to work. It works because you have 2 agile bigs that you're able to switch and kind of protect the paint. But what they need is like a OG Anunoby type. Somebody that's a bigger, can hit the 3. If he has to get the ball, he can get you a bucket in spots. But they've been trying to supplement that position with shooting, with Dean Wade, defense, Isaac Okoro, and whatever the hell Karis LeVert gives you, depending on what type of day it is. But until they get that consistent production from that position with somebody that's actually the size of the position as well, I just don't see them going very far because each person on the roster brings something different, and none of them have all 3 qualities that you need at that starting lineup to solidify you winning anything. So that's my Cavs observation.
Yeah, the other observation I have is I would like to have the coach under a true serum to ask if Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are actually 6'1".
Yeah.
I want the truth because I don't see it.
They are.
My
My biggest thing too is, man, when it's something that Darius Garland struggles with. The moment he gets a switch, like he struggles to beat switches consistently. A lot of that is size, but if you throw length on him, like he's kind of cooked. Like not a lot he can do with it.
Because he's also smaller. Like I like Donovan is thick, right? Like he ain't. I don't think he's 6'1". He's probably 6 foot, but he's like 220, right? Like he's a tank. Darius Garland is skinny. Like he might weigh 185. Might. I don't know. Micah, good morning. Absolutely riveting.
Oh, yeah. I had to get my phone out, Chris. My bad. I'm kind of busy. But, yeah, real quick. So, as far as the Cavs and Knicks go, because of having Jalen Brunson on my team for so long, I realized that, no, he didn't have his greatest of games, but he's still getting solid production. And, sorry. But at the same time, there's pretty much only one makeup of team that's going to make him struggle. And that's pretty much probably the Clippers in Toronto. Everybody else, he's doing his thing. So, big shout out to him. Glad to see him producing. Hey, my owner's cheap. Things happen. So, but yeah, I would love to see Julius Randle in Dallas. Because we just need some kind of talent. Like, our second best player is the 6th man. Let's just keep it a buck for a second.
All right. Appreciate it, Micah. Get back to work. We'll go next to Chris.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Kings are 3rd seed. My son's gonna be like 6'7", so everything's fucking amazing. I love it.
Oh, I'm glad he's gonna be 6'7". Is he any good at basketball?
I don't know. He's only 7 months old, but he can catch, so I'm gonna say yeah.
So you're really wishing the 6'7" into existence. Then that's what you're doing here.
Oh no,
I
no,
see.
no. He's enormous. He's almost 3 feet tall at 7 months old. So I'm assuming he's going to be. The doctors are very concerned about his size, but I'm not. He's going to be a giant. Either he's going to be a spaghetti monster or he's just going to be a tall kid. I don't know.
All right. Well, I don't. I mean, like most of my family members, like I got it bad. Like all my cousins and uncles, they're like 6'4", and I'm 5'11". But the thing is I grew up like them. So like by the time I was 9, I was 5'8", right? and so like I grew 3 inches the next 8 years. So
Hey,
just be careful.
Don't rain on my parade.
By the way, I don't know if you want 6'7". Like it's hard to get clothes. Like I'm not lying. It's hard.
I know. I'll let it come as nature intended for him. So I'll wait how it works out. But I just want to say, I have a lot of Knicks friends watching my Knicks friends just suffer on Twitter, and I'm telling you guys. Whoever said that quote that the greatest advantage you can have in professional sports is good ownership, that is so real. Like I don't know. It's just like the second that Vivek decided to stop being like a GM and that he knew about basketball, we finally like actually have a workable product on the floor after 17 years. It's like bad. I don't know what it's going to take for the Knicks to not suffer anymore. And the thing is, it's the worst kind of suffering because you're not so bad where it's excusable. It's just so mediocre, but on the bad side of mediocre. And so it's like clearly they understand how to at least be okay, but they just don't want to put in the effort to be better. And that's the part I think is the worst.
Chris,
right?
It's by design, Chris. It's by design.
I know.
It's rough to be a Knicks fan.
Because it's like when the Kings were bad, right? It was just so bad. At least you could just go to a game and just have some fun, because you're like, okay, yeah, like we know we're bad. Like that's how you rationalize it as a Kings fan, right? So like when year 10 rolls around and you haven't seen the playoff, like you just go, okay, the team's bad, but you know what? Like it's got such a you feel so close to the team because everybody in the city knows someone who works for the team or knows somebody who knows somebody, or like you could just go downtown and you'll like see the players there. You can say hi. There's like a lot of like close. You get that kind of like familiarity feeling, right? So you're like,
because
whatever.
It's a small city. Like I've lived there. It's not large.
Yeah, and so you get this sense of like almost like the players become like little brothers to you, right? And you're like, hey man, like. Good job, but you could be better. Like no one, nobody.
After like 14 years of not making the playoffs, like the Kings fans were happy for 100 points to get some free tacos or $5 off a pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it is. And you could go, you go to like Costco and you buy some shit and they give you free tickets and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I have something to do on a Friday night,
Yeah, they did that. They did that for the Pelicans too. Smoothie King did $5 tickets to Smoothie King.
Exactly, and then, but like with like being in New York City though, you can't do that shit. Like there's a million trillion things to do. You can't do that shit. So to me, I'm like, God, that's got to be so depressing because it's like you can't even just be like, you can't find a rationalized point with the Knicks to be like, you know what? At least this is happening. It's like no, like everybody on the Knicks is just good enough to not suck. Like to not be so bad.
They have one player that they can coalesce around, but the problem is they spent the better part of last year wanting to get him off this team, and that is Julius Randle, who I don't understand with the amount of New York Knicks fans that there are, how he's not top 5 in All-Star voting. Like,
I know.
Y'all should be ashamed.
Ben's not even on the list, Chris.
It's Miami. Nobody votes in Miami. They're out there enjoying the weather and the Cuban sandwiches. In New York, it is cold. It is raining. You are stuck indoors and you can't vote your all NBA guy in. Like, come on. Let me get Jake in here. He wants to reply. We'll move off and get in another game and a read. Jake, go ahead.
I'm just wondering if Knicks fans get any credit for Derrick Rose being in the top 10 of fan voting.
No. Yeah, I don't. In all honesty, like if this is his last hurrah, cool. Like I'm more upset that Austin Reeves is up there, right? But come on, like y'all, Julius is having basically the same career year he had, and like no, like it's a quiet. Like where are y'all?
Look, Chris, I think it comes down to one thing with Julius Randle, and that is that he needs to be put in the correct role for him to succeed. Right now, the role that he's putting in, sure, yeah, he's putting up some cool numbers, every other night. He also didn't hit more than like 3 threes in the past like 5 games, but he went 8 for 12 last night somehow. But Julius Randle will do that. I think it's more about prioritization and realizing a few things, and that's Julius Randle is not a number one option on a championship contending team. That's just point blank. He's not a closer. He's not consistent enough. He has low basketball IQ, but he's a very talented and athletic player, and he's going to get his when he's on. That's just a fact. He kind of reminds me a lot of like Russell Westbrook, in my opinion.
Oh.
He just doesn't have that like necessary last like bit that you need to like be that good of a player, but like he's gonna get his, and that's fine. But I think that if you look around the league, there's not a single other team in the NBA that is going to employ Julius Randle as their number one option on a championship contending team. And I think that's pretty fair to say.
Shout out Sino. Saying we waiting on him to get traded.
I just want to say one last thing, which is if the Kings can have greatness, the Knicks absolutely can. I just don't know what it's going to take. And apparently Dolan going full-blown rock star is not it. So I don't know. I feel sorry for you. I feel bad because it's better to suck than to be mediocre. I'm telling you guys.
I kind of agree. Sacramento, by the way, league's best offense, 120.3 points per game.
Yep. I'll tell you guys.
Real quick,
well, yeah, I'm trying to like, but both of y'all want to keep adding one more thing. Okay. So add one more thing, and then with Jake will add one more thing.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I just want to when we had Cousins, it was worse to have Cousins, not because Cousins was bad. It was just worse because you got that hope that we would be good. That was worse. It was better to have Willie Cauley-Stein and be like, okay, you know what? We are gonna suck, and that's fine because then I have my set expectations.
There you go. Man, Boogie is one of those stories I wish ended differently. Jake, go.
Chris, playing the kazoo does not make you a rock star. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you. Season 2 of Hoop Space is brought to you by SlamGoods.com. Head over to SlamGoods.com and pick up, an emblem of your fandom. For you Knicks fans, they did a special. It had Jalen Brunson and Derrick Rose on the cover. It's a collector's edition. It's like $20. You can go pick it up and you can save $350, right? Use promo code HoopSpaces. And if you are a Kings fan, they even have in the archives, unless it's sold out, the Boogie Cousins issue as well. It's something that I actually enjoy. I grew up reading them, and I actually enjoy physically reading the magazine. So actually, I have the physical, subscription, but they have a digital one too, and you can pick up the digital copy, and you can actually follow the lives and stories of the players of the league in a humanistic way, right? Like ESPN interviews him, Yahoo, whatever. Slam kind of doesn't really do the on the court stuff. They actually specialize in off the court, so you can actually learn more about the player's life. And I actually respect that, and that is actually kind of like what we're doing here with content creators. We want to shine the light on content creators. So like JP the franchise down below has another reactions video up in terms yesterday of the Celtics losing to the Magic, right? We have Miami, in the 5 with JFK, and then hopefully soon we get some Grizzlies with Mike. Maybe we'll get some Lakers with Tony. Hey, we are here to chase a dream, just like these players are. So make sure you support your own dream and your own fandom. Head over to slamgoods.com, use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%, and then come back here and say, hey, how do I become a creator? And we'll help you out. There. That's a long-winded read, but it's okay. It's like, so school's canceled and they have virtual learning, right? And they changed the forecast. There's going to be 5 to 8 inches, and everybody's freaking out. We have literally a half an inch on the ground. 1/2. And like I'm looking out, and it's just a wasted day. I think kids should be in school. That's just me. All right. We have some more basketball to get to. We have the next game up is Nuggets and Pelicans. The Nuggets actually had to hold on in the fourth quarter. 99-98. Nikola Jokic, 25, 11, and 10 of the triple-double. And I just do not see anybody in the league who is going to take the MVP away from him unless he gets injured. I want to know what your thoughts are. Are the Nuggets the best team in the league? Even though Boston is up in the win column 35-14, I happen to think that Denver actually might be better. So we want your thoughts there. We'll go around the room. Everybody can open up and talk freely. We're talking Nuggets. Are they the team to beat in the NBA? I'll get the poll out there now. Appreciate it, everybody. Good morning. Okay. Nobody talk at once.
Oh, I thought we were all doing hands raise. I will say I think that the Nuggets. I think that Jokic is the player to beat. I think the Nuggets would be like a play-in team without him, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't even know if they would be a play-in team because Jamal Murray isn't consistent and Michael Porter Jr. has missed so many games. Like, I don't know if they're a play-in team without him.
That's true. I think, yeah, they'd probably be like 13th seed without Jokic. Like, that's just how good he is. I went to the both of the Nuggets games at the Golden One Center, and I don't know. It is crazy to see Jokic in person play. Like, my seats my season ticket seats are pretty low down in the lower bowl, so you get to see like really up close how good these guys are. And Jokic is, I don't know how he does it. Like, I don't know if they just run plays where he just tells them, you need to be exactly right here. Because he does not look ahead. There are some plays I was watching where because, like sometimes when you play, like you see where a guy's going to be, and then you can do no-look passes because you know he's going to be there. These dudes are coming up from behind him. I don't know how he sees where they're going to be because there's no way for him to have seen them get there beforehand, but he just throws like a behind the back over the head pass to them. And I don't know how he does it. Like, it is some kind of, it's so magical to watch. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. If you guys ever get a chance to watch him do it in person.
I don't want to spoil it for you then.
Don't spoil it because I just genuinely don't know.
So as a human, you have a multitude of senses, right? We understand them as the 5 senses. You have sight, sound, taste, touch, and what's the 5th one that I'm blanking out on? Smell, right? So he's going down the court, right? He's already seen in relative position where he is and where they are and where the defense is. He already knows how the defense is going to react to how he's going, right? This is how we know. This is what separates good from great and great from elite and elite from Hall of Fame, greatest of all time discussion. These guys are so phenomenal at practice that what they're able to do is basically break down practice as if it was a film session, but they're able to go frame by frame. So he takes it to the game. And within practice, when they're doing their transition runouts, he already knows how fast KCP runs. He already knows how fast Jamal Murray runs. He already knows the relative position. So he's already able to gauge where they're going to be. He then changes his positioning to manipulate the defense, to pull the defense into him, which they're automatically coming towards him. But because he's not going like full speed, he's allowing the defense to actually converge on him, because if they don't, he's going to continue for an easy, uncontested layup or and one. And then that provides the extra window of availability for that pass. So when you look at him pass, they're not zips. He's not slinging it, right? But what he's doing is he's putting it in the position of where the player's supposed to be. And what that turns it into is more like Messi-esque, right? Where it's like, I'm not responding to you any longer. This is what we do. This is how you play. I'm putting the ball in a position that you are supposed to get to. And he's able to do it with every single teammate.
That's somehow even more magical than just literally magic. Like, it would have been easier to grasp if it was just actually magic.
Yeah, no, people don't like when different is better, and his game is different and it's better, and he's probably going to get penalized because he is just that unique, and there is a fatigue factor. Let me get these hands up. We'll go to JF next. We'll hit up Chris with sports, and then we'll get NJ in here. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Yeah, Chris, quick question. Do you believe that Nikola Jokic is this generation's Charles Barkley? Because I don't think
No.
the Nuggets are it.
No. I would say he's better, so.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the sense of, like, you can have an MVP on the team, but, not make it all the way through.
Well, I mean, so far, then yeah, sure, because he hasn't been to the finals. He hasn't won. I would say the difference between like him and Barkley is that Barkley teams for the Sixers were capped. And he would perform, but he didn't have a lot of help that would perform with him. Denver has been injured. Every time that they've made a playoff push the last 3 years, everybody not named Jokic is injured. And that's a roster construction issue. It goes back to like the question earlier in the show from Breeze. Is it more frustrating to have the guy and not the pieces, or is it more frustrating to have the pieces and not the guy? And like Nuggets fans will tell you, it's more frustrating to have the guy because they have the guy. They just don't believe they have the pieces because of health, right? And I get it, but like imagine if you had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Sean Elliott, and Kawhi Leonard, but you had no Tim Duncan. And like that's the end first. So like I think he's gonna eventually get there because he's got 6-7 years of this play, without injury. And like they gotta hit on some supporting cast, right? Like if we go 10 years and Jokic doesn't get it, then we're in Barkley territory.
But they've been seen to rely on, I know Michael Porter Jr. has not been healthy, but they seem to rely on Jamal Murray, even when he's injured. Like, I don't think they have been able to get another scorer of that type. I mean, I don't think Aaron Gordon is it. But that's just what I see. Just because of the fact that they need another consistent guy, and Jamal Murray, unfortunately, isn't this year because he's dropping like a 30-point game every, 7 games or something like that. So it's tough. I don't know if he has enough help, but I think that just accredits him to his personal stats and what he's been showing this year. So that's why I don't think the Nuggets are it.
I mean, it's really. I'm kind of past Jamal Murray on this point by this time. Like it's really Michael Porter Jr., right? Jamal Murray is I think similar to D'Angelo Russell, like this is just what their game is. Michael Porter Jr. is a legit shot to give you a 50-40 guy. I don't think he'll hit 90 free throws, but maybe he'll get to 85. But he was supposed to be able to score, hit open shots, but more importantly, be the offensive mismatch, right? Other than Jokic. So it just hasn't worked out that way. Part of it is he didn't play but 9 games last season. He's at 32 this year, and like he's on pace to play more than 54, which is like what he had 2 years ago as a starter. He started 54. And when he started, he was 19-7, and like they need him to be a 20-point scorer, and he has not yet. He's just not been able to do it this year. If he gets to 20 points per game consistently, then you can live with an up and down Jamal Murray. If he can't get to 20 points per game, like it's going to be screwy. I feel bad, in terms of seeing the greatness of Jokic and then being frustrated because we could be looking at like a 3-time three-peat MVP who never wins the title.
Charles Barkley.
Well, I still think he's better. Let's go to NJ. Chris with Sports is back up here. Eugene and Blue. Before we do, let's get some shout outs down below. We've got Evan Townsend, Project Spurs in the building. We've got Just 30, Jose and Rolo from 77 Spaces, Warren from Day One, Raptors Live TV. So look, Raptors Live TV is live every post game here. We have 77 Spaces live before the game here. And like you're here during the day, like I want you to also be here during the night and check out these dope fans and content creators and join in to their discussion. Be a better fan, learn more about their team and what it's like to go through life in a disappointing sense with the Toronto Raptors, right? Or be frustrated because you have Luka Doncic and you just seem to not have the right pieces. Or you could even say you have the right pieces for a player not named Luka Doncic. Like, who knows? But, like, if you don't hop in there, you're not going to be able to have that discussion. All right. That was pretty easy. All right. NJ, what's up? How you doing? We'll go to you, then Eugene, Chris for Sports, then Blue.
Hey, y'all. What's up? I do agree that Jokic is the best player in the league by like a lot this season for sure because he has to do a lot for the Nuggets. But I don't believe that the Nuggets are the best team in the league. I think that they have the best player in the leagues, and then hence why their record is so good is because of Jokic. Honestly, solely because he's like putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, like one of those games where he had like 40, 20, 15 or something like that. I don't remember exactly the stat line. However, I'm a Sacramento fan. I'm a Kings fan. Chris was up here earlier, the other Chris, and he's a Kings fan too. Shout out to him. And I think De'Aaron Fox should be getting MVP votes. Like, genuinely, I think he should be top 10 in the MVP votes. It kind of regressed at one point because he was injured and he missed games, but I do think he should be getting MVP votes. But I do think that at the end of the season, regular season, that it should go to Jokic. Yeah. And like I don't think the Nuggets are the best. I think Memphis is better. I think the Pelicans are better. And I don't think by the end of the season the Nuggets will have the best record in the Western Conference.
All right.
Yeah. I think cuz the Kings are what, third now? So I think the Kings will stay somewhere around there. Like maybe they'll drop to 5 or 6. But I think we're not going to be a play-in. I think we'll be a play-off, but we'll see what happens. Like, anything can happen. Injuries happen all the time. Freak accidents, all that stuff. So I do think that the Kings have a better chance at finishing higher than the Nuggets at the end. And it's a very bold prediction. But I just think Jokic is just going to be fatigued. And players aren't really stepping up that as often. Like Jamal Murray, you said every 7 games he scores 30 points or something. Whereas he used to score it like every other game or something like that. And MPJ is just like his injuries and stuff, and Aaron Gordon is not him. I don't think so. He can dunk and stuff, but I don't think he's what they want him to be because his athleticism is out the gym. Like he's athletic, and I think they try to make him a shooter, and he's not a shooter or like a shooting whatever player or whatever. So I just think that the Kings offense and how the Mike Brown, our defense is just abysmal at times, but times it's like really good. Like that Cavs game, we finished on a 19-0 run against them, that Cavs team earlier in the season. It was very impressive 19-0 run as well. And then we did beat them again. We first beat them in Sacramento at Golden One, then we beat them in Cleveland. So that was really impressive. Those are my favorite wins of the season. So yeah, that's what I think. Give De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis their spots in All-Star. Like, I'm going to be very upset as a Kings fan, and I am for the Kings propaganda. So yeah.
I will tell you that it won't be De'Aaron Fox. It will be Domantas Sabonis. But they will take votes from each other.
Yeah.
I don't see either finishing in the top 5.
Oh yeah, I agree. I meant like reserves, like coaches choose a reserve, right?
No, I meant for the MVP because you said you wanted De'Aaron Fox in the MVP discussion.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of Domas, like he's having an All NBA season. Like if he's not on at least one, whether it be second team, or he better be on second team. If he's not on first, he better be on second team. Yeah.
He look. I'm just gonna go ahead and start prepping you now. He's not gonna be first or second team.
I think third team is fine too. I mean, that's out of 400, 300 players.
Whoever, well, it's going to be, I think, between him and Julius Randle.
I know you didn't just compare Domas to Julius.
Well, production-wise, Domas and Julius actually are rather
what about their records, though? Who has the better record?
Again, the All-NBA team isn't supposed to be
I agree,
record.
but don't they factor that in as well at one point? Like if they're
not really, not as much as MVP.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Chris?
What? Yeah, go ahead.
What about the fact that this Domantas, every time Julius Randle sees him, cooks his ass? What about that?
Well, one, because Julius Randle is a beast. He puts his shoulder into his chest, and
he's a quicker player. Like there's no, like you can see he's a quicker player than Domas. I don't think Domas should be guarding Julius Randle. In my opinion, it should be Harrison Barnes, or hopefully we can, in my opinion, trade Harrison Barnes for some assets and get a player like OG from the Raptors and stuff.
Well,
we actually play.
That ain't happening.
I mean, you never know. That's what people say. That's what people said. KD's never going to the Warriors, and guess what happened? He went to the Warriors. So,
well, but you're asking. See, when you're talking a trade, you have to be able to make a trade where both sides say yes, and the only player that they would entertain would be Keegan Murray.
No, we're not giving up Keegan. I'm sorry.
And that would actually still. Yeah, you would still have to add picks to Keegan Murray to get OG.
I would trade.
We'll give you Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier are 3-and-D specialists.
You can keep the Knicks. I don't want no Knicks player. I don't want no sorry, excuse my language. I don't want no Knicks player. Not a single one. Julius Randle, I'll take, but everyone else can stay where they are.
You're a Kings fan, right?
And what about it?
Entirely too much.
I mean, I'm not only, the thing is, of course, the Kings have been very sorry for the past 17 years, but I'm not only a Kings fan. I'm a fan of basketball, and I know that Julius Randle, I'll take Julius Randle, so.
She out here telling you Trey Lyles is better than any Knicks player not named
Period! Trey Lyles is most definitely better.
But did you hear how she just quickly glanced over? We've been trashed for 17 years. She got through that kind of quick. It's like you just can't breathe.
You know what's really funny is when the Knicks went to the playoffs 2 years ago. Y'all was the same.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say this.
I wasn't.
The Warriors.
Well, you weren't, but the general fan base was.
I looked up a stat because the Kings are doing pretty well. Like obviously, everything can go to hell, and like no one knows what can happen by the end of the regular season, right? And when playoffs start. However, I looked up a stat and I Googled. I was like, what team didn't make the playoffs for like a few years or something, and then the next year they went to the finals, or they went to the Western Conference Finals, or like the semis, or the third round, or something like that. And it was in the 1960s. That's the last time it's happened where like they've missed such a long time on the playoffs, and then they made the playoffs and they went like I think the third, or like the semis or something. And I don't think the Kings are going to make the semis or anything. I think we'll exit in the first round or the second round or something like that in the playoffs. But I don't care. I will take what I can get. So it was like in the
I
60s. It was in the 60s, and it was the Warriors team, and they actually went. And I think they ended up winning the championship. I'm not saying. I wish, like, my delusion is like, let's go Kings. There's a possibility, you know.
wait, but wasn't that the Wilt Chamberlain year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not
It's
fair.
not happening. Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
fair.
We don't have a Wilt
Yeah,
Chamberlain.
that's not fair.
It's not our Wilt
Yeah.
Chamberlain isn't on our team. We got Domas, and he's
Yeah.
you know, he's putting up great numbers, but obviously no one will touch Wilt's numbers ever. So yeah.
I was just giving her hell, Chris. I like the Kings. I like the Kings.
I don't like Nick.
Let me get in here. I want
That's fine.
I want Jokic to be heard. He is not happy with the Denver Nuggets slander. Jamal Murray has been more consistent, and Aaron Gordon is doing exactly what the Nuggets need for him to do. That's why they got him, and he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. So I want to make sure that we get the Nuggets takes up here too. They made a trade with Washington, and it seems to have started to pay dividends now as Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has kind of settled back in. Bones Highland has been a really good offensive upgrade for Monty Morris. I think Monty Morris fit the system, but I think Bones Highland has a higher ceiling. But I want to give some love and a funk flex bomb to Mr. Bruce Brown. Before Bruce Brown, like, I thought it could be Sean Kilpatrick, and he didn't really work out. If you don't remember Sean Kilpatrick, he was a Cincinnati Bearcat. Bruce Brown came in, second round pick, 42nd overall, picked by the Detroit Pistons out of University of Miami. And I remember having this conversation. It was around the time that they basically cut bait from Spencer Dinwiddie. And I'm like, this Bruce Brown kid is going to get on the court, and then he's not going to get off the court. He's never going to be the best player at any position you put him at. But if he hits the court, he's not going to get off the court. This season, he's playing 29 minutes per game. He's played point guard, shooting guard, small forward, and power forward. For the Denver Nuggets, he's played 47 games, shooting 50% from the floor, 40% from deep, 72 from the line, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 11 points. Shout out, ladies and gentlemen, and a round of applause to Bruce Brown, earning them paychecks. We'll go next to Eugene, Blue, Christopher Sports, and we'll hit up Evan Townsend. Eugene, go ahead. 60 seconds.
What's happening, my guys? I want to say NG said a lot what I was going to say about the Denver Nuggets. I don't think they're the best team in the league. I think that still goes to Boston. And I say that partially. I am a Pelicans fan, but how they handled that game last night, and it was pretty close where I don't think it should have been that close. But Jokic, to me, man, that guy there, he's the Tyson, what's that boxer name? Tyson Fury of basketball. He don't look like he's supposed to be that good, but he is. So, like, he's an amazing talent to watch and see, man.
That's a good comp. I like that. Give you a point for that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Y'all go ahead, though.
All right. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, like, that sound is a good thing. The more you hear, the better. If you hear this, you're too slow. If you hear this, you're bad. Like, that's, yeah. And then that is self-explanatory. Blue, what up, man? How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, Spaces. Good morning, Chris. Reporting live from Dallas, Texas. The one Pelicans fan in my zip code. Check this out, man. This is my obligatory Pelicans initiating statement. Brandon Ingram is back. He will return to the court tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves as part of our home back-to-back 3-game home stretch, what have you. Zion Williamson is showing great progress with his hamstring injury. He'll be reevaluated again in 2 weeks. That's great news for us as Pelican fans. And yeah, the Denver Nuggets skated away with a victory, with a 1-point victory, minus our 2 biggest superstars. So that's obligatory for me as a Pelicans fan, just to mention. We can talk about Jokic's greatness. I think that's that can't be overstated. But in addition to that, they run some incredible schemes. We cannot ignore the job that Mike Malone and his coaching staff is doing. The player development there is crazy. Seeing this third incarnation of KCP, this second version of Aaron Gordon, seeing Jamal Murray, in some ways, and not the most evident of ways, and not the most reminiscent of his past ways, but we're seeing Jamal Murray get back to form, and they run really tight, crisp offenses, and they know where they're supposed to be on defense, and when those guys get those open shots, taking advantage of the gravity that Jokic has, they knock down those open shots. So kudos to the Denver Nuggets, not just for having generational talent in Nikola Jokic and a reasonably talented supporting cast, but also just for that organization. Did I get the womp womp?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard it. And the organization for putting those players in the right position, man, and running really great sets. Last night's game was a nail biter. The Pelicans started off kind of sloppy. They rallied back together in the second half. We saw a great performance from Jose Alvarado. He's been in a slump for the last couple games, so it's good to see him get his legs back under him and really attack Jokic. I mean, taking advantage of not only some early foul trouble for Jokic, but just his size and being able to move quickly past larger defenders and put it high off the glass. Like Jose Alvarado really kind of helped initiate that second half spark for the Pelicans. And yeah, again, we're doing all of this without the potentially 60 plus points out of our two superstars. So it was a hard fought win. The Pelicans on a 5-game losing streak, and hopefully the skid comes to an end. With the addition of Brandon Ingram, we lost Dyson Daniels to an ankle injury. Hopefully that isn't too serious, and that we can see him continuing to contribute on the defensive end at a high rate post All-Star break. But are the Denver Nuggets the best team in the league? No. Are they the best team in the West? Currently, sure. Do they have an immense amount of talent? Absolutely. However, as much as I hate to talk about the Lakers, AD is returning soon. That also comes on the heels of Brandon Ingram returning, and ideally having Zion soon. So we'll begin to see completely different looks from some of these Western Conference contenders, and everything from the 6th seed down to the 12th seed, if I'm not mistaken, that's just 3 games behind, right? So you get on a 3-game or 4-game losing streak, a 3-game, 4-game, 5-game winning streak, and all of a sudden the West is up for grabs. So we've known this and seen this from the beginning of the year. The Denver Nuggets have the most complete team as far as, despite the injury to Michael Porter Jr., like they've been relatively healthy this season. And so I think once we start getting towards the latter quarter of the season, we'll begin to see teams kind of take shape, take form, get on these streaks, and see these superstars starting to gel together. And hopefully the Pelicans can pick it up and get back in rhythm for this playoff push. And yeah, man, a 1-point win minus Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. I mean, I don't celebrate losses, but I think the Pelicans don't have a whole lot to be worried about.
I love how you say you don't celebrate losses, but you're over here justifying a moral victory. Let's give him a round of applause. Points to you. Another good job. Do me a favor, Blue. You see that dude? His name's Justin Patton. It says JP down there, right? You see that guy on your screen?
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah. Go in his DM, say, hey, hook me up for some video reactions so we can get you on the video with the Pelicans talk.
We already in talks, player. That's already in motion, but I appreciate you, Chris.
All right. Just got to make sure. That's called following up. Christmas Sports, man. What's up? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Chris? Good morning, Spaces. Thank you for having me, as always, man. Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. He made some good points. Blue made some good points. And I feel the same way, man. I think the Nuggets are a good team, but they just seem like a regular season team. But obviously, that's because of like what you said, the injuries. Everybody knows that. Like if you don't have your key guys that can help you get over the hump, you know what I mean, that can take you there, it's going to be tough. Like it's not easy. I mean, but that's just how I feel. I just feel like they're a regular season team, and of course, That's has in part to do with the injuries. But even still, if they still got a healthy MPJ or in the Jamal Murray, I feel like they do have a shot. But like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I feel as though the Pelicans will be the team that you got to really worry about, and that's on the East and the West. Yep.
I like that. Brooklyn and Philly play tonight. Who wins?
Excuse me, what?
Brooklyn and Philly play tonight. Who wins?
Come on, man. Brooklyn.
Good try.
You hit me with the bus.
Yeah, good try.
Is
yeah.
Embiid playing?
What's up?
I heard he questioned.
I don't know. It'll come out about 3 o'clock.
Oh man, he chicken.
Like, that's good bait. I appreciate the bait, Chris. Let me get Evan in here. And we got Hoop Spaces Ryan. Then we're gonna open up. We got a couple more games, but nobody wants to talk about the Charlotte professional basketball team. So we're gonna talk about the Wizards beating Dallas after this. Evan, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Didn't get a chance to say congratulations yesterday on your new deal. So,
thank you.
Shout out to you, man. You've been working really hard. So, I really wanted just to follow up with NJ. She's talking about the Kings. I have a friend who's a diehard Kings fan. He was pretty much throwing out all these names yesterday, saying, "Oh yeah, OG." Even let's look at some of the OKC guys. Look at some of the some Pelicans, some Jackson Hayes. And I'm just like, dude, this team is dropping 135 on teams some nights. Harrison Barnes is a free agent, and that's kind of like their glue piece. Keegan Murray's kind of just like their engine that once he gets going, dude, they're like really unstoppable. Like, they do not miss threes. So I wanted to ask you, NJ, like, is there any, like, I don't think you're getting OG. I just don't think that's gonna happen realistically. But
look, we play. I'm actually going to the game tonight against the Raptors. When OG sees the beam lit,
oh my god,
he's gonna.
Overnight, y'all turned into Hawks fans. All of you. All of you are Hawks fans. Overnight.
I told you I'm here for the Kings propaganda and nothing else.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
No disrespect, but this beam stuff.
To be realistic.
This beam stuff is real cute. This beam stuff is real cute, but once you guys have playoff T-shirts that like fear the beam, and you guys get
exactly.
I don't know, but if you get swept,
they just need to keep it like the beam. They just look. If the social team is listening, keep it like the beam. Do not do what Evan just said.
True.
Just keep it like the beam and rock out to that. All right, go ahead, NJ.
No, but what I was saying, to be realistic, because I like to, be a little bit delusional. But for the realistic, like, I know we're probably, like, who wants to trade with the Kings, right? Even though they're good now, it's like, who wants to trade with the Kings? However, I do think that HB is our biggest asset because he is reliable. He's extremely reliable when he wants to be. He's over the years, the past, like, what, I think now 6 years he's played at the Kings, like, he's been very inconsistent. Like, he'll go off for like 35 points, 12 of 17, hit 6 threes, and then the next night he drops like 5 points and shoots 1 of 7. The one thing he does do well in, which is why I was so shocked we lost that against the 76ers the other night. I was so pissed about that loss, but is because
you shouldn't be. That's greatness. Like, you lost to greatness. Understand
exactly. That. I didn't mind that, right? Because it was a great team, right? But what I minded was HB is clutch from free throw. I'm pretty sure he shoots like in the 80s, like percent, like almost 90 or something. Because I literally I watch most Kings games, but like sometimes it comes on when I'm working. I've watched like over the 30 something games, and like I don't think I've seen him miss a free throw, maybe once or twice. But then when the pressure was on and he was on the line, and it was 126, 129 76ers, and we got those. Finally, we got a call because he threw his hands up, very vet move, and it was free throws, 3 free throws. He missed the most important free throw there is. He missed the first one. When he missed the first one, I'm like, okay, we lost the game, because it's very rare you miss the second, you get a rebound, because there was only like 3-4 seconds left on the shot clock. So that was very disappointing. And like I said, he's been inconsistent. However, like I said, he also was our second option to Fox, right? To be honest, at one point he was our first option.
Yeah, he's not your best asset, because teams aren't going to want to re-sign him. The best asset is a
Yeah.
player that I've said that they should
We're
have
not
traded,
giving up Keegan.
and that's Davion Mitchell. Davion needs to be freed from Sacramento. This is not a bad thing. This is just a
I don't
fit
think so
thing.
either. I agree. I don't. Because
He can't get the minutes. He's less minutes this year than he was last year, and that's the piece you need to trade. But I need to keep it moving. Keegan Murray, by the way, I try to tell everybody, Evan is just now on board. Last 10 games, 55 from the floor, 54 from deep, 93 from the line.
We are not trading Keegan.
Only player that can catch Paolo Banchero for Rookie of the Year. Evan, close out, and then we'll hit up Ryan.
I've one quick just one last thing, Chris. If you're trading Harrison Barnes, who's his replacement if it's not Jay Crowder? You have to have another combo forward that can shoot.
I'll take Jay Crowder.
But you again, I don't think the Kings don't have assets to trade. They can't trade this year's pick because next year's pick might convey to the Hawks. That means they also can't trade 25. So that means the earliest pick they can trade is the 26th.
The thing,
you don't have the assets. If you move Barnes, you have to bring back someone to replace him, which then makes it harder to trade. If you move Monk, you have to bring someone back to replace him. I gotta move on. I need to get Ryan in. I need to hit a reset. I'll try to bring you in the third hour here. Ryan, go ahead. Close us out for the second hour.
All right. Good morning, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm well. I spent 2.5 hours trying to figure out this thing. And I'm totally lost on it.
I just got to remind you that I'm West Coast, so when you send me crap at 5 a.m. to try and get me to join test rooms, just remember I'm not going to join them.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
It's all good. So today I'm going to play a little trivia game. It's a little different from what we've done in the past, but the questions, I'm not going to lie, are going to be a bit hard. So I'm just going to, instead of asking you some trivia, I'm going to let everyone up on stage help you out. Is that cool?
Yeah. I'm here for it.
All right. So today's trivia game is going to be called Last 15. So in everyone's mind, I want you to start thinking about the last 15 games. And I'm only talking about players who have played at least 10 of those 15 games. So don't be thinking about someone who came back in the last 5 of the last 15 games. And also only players who are actually playing. So 15 minutes or more. So we all understood of qualified players in this last 15 game?
Yep.
All right. So let's start off. I've got basically a top 10 list here in front of me for each one of these categories. I'm going to throw out a question to everyone on stage. Let's see if we can get at least the someone in the top 3 of each category. For the last 15 games, can we figure out who has scored the most points per game?
That would be Damian Lillard.
Maybe someone else wants to try. In other words, no.
Can I go?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say Kyrie.
No, if it isn't Damian Lillard, it's LeBron James.
No, or it got to be Embiid, right?
I was going to say LeBron.
No, it's either Damian or LeBron.
LeBron is number 2.
What?
2.8.
Huh. How's it not Dame?
Oh, then it's got to be Jokic, right?
Dame is number 5, by the way.
Jokic, right?
What? He had in the last 15 games, Dame has had 37, 24, 35, 44, 40, 36, 50, 30, 34. How is it not Dame? Wow. Go ahead. Anybody else?
There's an obvious answer out there, everyone.
Joel?
Luka
is the answer. And by the way, Joel Embiid is 3rd, by the way.
Golly.
That was a Dallas, Texas non-Mavs fan with that answer. You're welcome.
All right, moving on. Question number 2, last 15. Who has averaged the most 3-pointers made in the last 15 games?
Lauri Markkanen.
Nope.
What?
It's going to be Luka again.
It is not.
No. Dame.
It's not Dame.
Yo, like Laurie's at like 5 a game.
Steph? Is it Steph?
Steph did not qualify for this, but if he did, he would have been right up there.
Trae Young.
Nah.
Not Trae Young.
That is insane. Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving is number 2 with 4 3-pointers made per game. There is someone better than him on this list. Last 15.
Dame.
Donovan Mitchell.
Dame is 8th on the list. Donovan Mitchell is 7th on the list. Y'all are sleeping on.
Isaiah Joe.
I think it's time for me to just tell you that would be Mr. Klay Thompson with 4.8 3-pointers made.
I would have never guessed that.
All right.
Isaiah Joe's hilarious, by the way.
Moving on. Last 15 games. Who is averaging the most free throws made? Free throws made last 15 games.
Wow. Julius Randle.
No, Jason Tatum.
Julius Randle is not on the list. Jason Tatum is 6th.
Theo Pinson.
Dame.
Dame is 3rd with 8.8.
Luka?
Luka is 2nd with 9.5, getting close.
Joel.
Joel Embiid, number 1 with 9.7.
Damn, I was going to say him, but I wasn't sure. Damn.
All right. Only a couple more. Last 15 games, who's leading with the most rebounds per game?
Julius Randle?
Julius Randle, number 1, 14.3.
Yeah, I knew it. He was going crazy.
Followed in 2nd place with someone with 14.2. Anyone want to take a
Jalen Duren.
No.
DeMontis.
Sabonis is number 3 with 12.7, but there is someone right on Julius Randle's tail.
Giannis.
Giannis is not
Doesn't
there.
qualify.
Nope.
Is it Jokic?
It is not Jokic.
Damn.
He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is tied for 7th.
Nikola Vucevic.
Vucevic is 4th, very close. So you've got 1, 3, and 4. You're circling.
Is it Adams? Is it
Steven Adams?
Steven Adams is number 2 with 14.2
It's a tie,
rebounds.
Chris. It's a tie between me and you.
Bam Adebayo.
No. Bam is 7th on the list, but I'm going to move on. I got 2 more. Last 15 games, your assist leader. Who is atop the assist leaderboard for the last 15 games?
James Harden.
James Harden, number 1 with 11.6. Anyone want to take a guess at number 2 and number 3?
I'm going to say Luka.
Sabonis and Jokic.
Sabonis and Jokic are not number 2 and number 3. Sabonis is number 4.
What about Luka? Where he at?
Luka is not on this list. Jokic is number 2, though.
Wait,
so I got 2. I got 1 and 2.
Yeah. Dame is not.
Trae Young.
Trae Young is number 3. So Chris got 1, 2, and 3. All right. Final question of last 15. Who has the most double-doubles in the last 15 games?
Nick Claxton.
Jokic.
Both of those answers are incorrect.
Julius Randle.
Chris takes the win. 14 double-doubles in the last 15 games.
Yo, Julius Randle is hooping.
DeMontis Sabonis is 2. Bam Adebayo is 3. Luka Doncic 4. Nikola Jokic is 5.
Chris, don't be sitting in front of Google now.
I'm not.
Randall was 1, Sabonis 2, Vucevic 3, and the recently injured Bobby Portis was 4 on the double-doubles in the last 15.
I got 2 out of the top 4.
Like sometimes, Chris, I just wanted to say sometimes the guards out-rebound Bam Adebayo on the daily, so I'm not sure about that rebound one.
Oh, remember, it's the average.
Yeah.
It's average. So, like, Tyler Hero out-rebounding Bam 1 game. If Bam is still pulling 9, there's a game Bam pulls 15. Ergo, Bam's averaging 12.
Okay, you're right.
Oh, man.
No, but Hero had 7 last night. That's why.
Yeah, I started out slow. Oof, I gotta
Yeah,
get
he
better.
had rebounds, but no points. I'm pissed.
I gotta get better.
I know
But
everybody was on that parlay.
Yeah, I had him
I
getting
finished
20.
strong.
Fucking
No, see. Like y'all, like I don't get it. Like you guys are intelligent adults. Like y'all do realize the house always wins, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. But come on,
Always
man.
wins.
He that was booked. Like Marcus Smart was out, Brogdon was out, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
Jalen Brown was out.
Still gonna
I'm like
cover
that's a no
Hero
brainer.
though. He
Well, here let's give Ryan here a huge round of applause for coming up with these trivia questions. It's going to be a better feature on a radio show, I think, because it's going to flow better, as you heard. Like it's going to be dope. I love it. I want to give some shout outs down below. Ashley Baker is in the building. You know what? For all you Cowboys fans, this is for you. Yeah. Well, you know, it's rough out there for you Cowboys fans. I don't even watch football, and I was smiling from ear to ear. Like the Dallas Cowboys are to the NFL what the Yukon Huskies are to women's college basketball. Hate them. It's just ingrained in me through society how they subject us to America's team. Well, if you are truly America's team, it is another year of perpetual mourning. Unserious. It's embarrassing. Wake me up when y'all do something.
We will next year. Next year is our year. Stop it.
Always
Stop
next
it.
year.
Stop it. I believe.
Always.
I believe.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. We've been doing this for 3 decades now. Come on, man. Stop.
I
That's
am
why I
telling
gave
you
up on
now. The moment you walk away from your emotional attachment to the narcotic that is known as the NFL, the better your mental health will be. I guarantee it. Like, if you are a Cowboys fan, heed my words. Mental health matters. Walk away. Just walk away so you don't have to listen to Stephen A. Smith cackle. Check out AMB Sports After Dark. It's a really dope space. What up, JF?
Are the Knicks and Cowboys fans kind of like the same type of people?
No. Nah.
What was the question?
Are Knicks fans and Cowboys fans the same type of people? And like, nah. I would rather be stuck in an elevator on the 37th floor with 14 Knicks fans than be stuck in an elevator on the second floor with one Cowboy fan.
Wow, one. I thought you was going to say.
Look, man, like I grew up military, and everywhere there were Cowboys fans, and like you just couldn't escape it. And I'm like, dog, you was born in Marietta, Georgia. What are you doing? I mean, I'm Cowboys. Like, get out of here. Anyway, back to basketball because it's the
one
better
more thing
sport.
I was going to say, aren't you a fan of basketball? You don't like football, right?
Yeah, no. But
So
I'm telling you, I like it when the Cowboys lose.
Wow, that's crazy. All right.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes it just be like that.
Wow.
Got a couple more games really quick to go over after I hit this button and do this read. We are brought to you today, as every day, by slamgoods.com. Yeah, they sell a lot of stuff. They've been selling a lot of stuff with the promo code they gave me to give you. The promo code Hoop Spaces, just like what it says up top. So if you go to slamgoods.com, which if you go to slamgoods.com, you can go to your Google machine, type it in there. You get to this wonderful website. Go to the shopping area, and you'll see apparel, collectibles. Go to the collectibles because like that's where the money's at. You can pick out the collector's edition on the NBA and all photos, just like Malika Walker did. And you will go through history, like stepping in a time machine, going in the way back to the now with the greatest pictures ever taken in NBA history. And like you can do that and save money by using promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%. All right. The Charlotte professional basketball team went into Phoenix and they went into Phoenix. 128-97. And it was every bit as bad as that transition because there was nothing positive to talk about. Terry Rozier being targeted by the Suns as a potential replacement for Chris Paul. Now, on to a game that really did matter. The Washington Wizards beat the Dallas Mavericks 127-126. Kyle Kuzma taking shots at Spencer Dinwiddie after Dinwiddie said in the post-game comments that they're the better team. Well, if you're the better team, you wasn't playing winning basketball. Kyle Kuzma, 30 points. Word also coming out of Washington, they are not trying to trade Kyle Kuzma any longer. They view him as a potential long-term fit next to Bradley Beal, which is interesting because that means that once again, we are on the Kristaps Porzingis watch because they're not going to be able to re-sign Kuzma and run back Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis. They're capped. Like their talent is capped. They don't have enough assets to acquire more talent. So unless they're able to convince somebody to come in on a vet min by saying, "Hey, we got these three dudes named Kuzma, Beal, and Porzingis to lead us," you're looking at a fight for 500 every year. And like that's just not what, at least I understand, the ownership wants to do. That they actually want to build a winner in DC. So I'm expecting Kristaps Porzingis to be available. Will Barton starting to get some run again. Baltimore's own Will Barton just doesn't have a home in Washington. Like there's nothing wrong with that. He doesn't have a home. Kuzma takes his minutes. Beal takes his minutes, and he doesn't shoot as well as Kispert is supposed to. So like Kispert takes his minutes. So I expect him to possibly out there on the trading block. And to be honest, I would love to see someone like DeLon Wright or Will Barton, because I think DeLon Wright also is running out of time in Washington. On the Sixers, the Mavericks, the Heat, or even the New York Knicks. I think all four of those teams could use either a Will Barton or DeLon Wright. Whether you need defense, that's DeLon, or whether you need offense off the bench, which will be Will Barton. I think Washington is going to be busy this trade season. Kendrick Nunn able to make his debut. I believe it's Tuesday or Monday of next week, I think is what they were targeting, being traded for Rui Hachimura, coming over with 3 second-round draft picks. All right, we will go to the winner, and that is Hater with a Heart at Point Wizards. That's Justin. We're going to try to get Justin to talk to Justin, as in JP, to get him maybe on board to do some videos about the Wizards. You can also catch him on his timeline as well as the Point Wizards pod for podcast of Wizards Talk. Hater, go ahead. Congratulations on the win. You're almost there, back in the play-in. What you got?
First of all, thank you for having the space and giving time to talk about the Wizards when rarely anyone else does. I really do appreciate it more than you know. Second, me and Justin have been in some conversations, so we're going to try to get the wheels going on that too. And most importantly, how soft and sad is Spencer Dinwiddie these days? Ever since this man has left the Wizards, he's had nothing but bad things to say and nothing but L's to hold up. I don't know how anybody in the Dallas locker room can stand the guy. Granted, he gave you some great moments in the playoffs that you lost in. But at the same time, though, the crypto talk, the constant going at the Wizards just because he had a bad experience, I don't know why anybody would put up with it. I'm glad the Wizards didn't. But yesterday, no KP, not a great Bradley Beal. It was in Kuz we trust that led us to the victory yesterday. And a lot of people are talking about, even in Wizards spaces and Twitter, how it might be a problem to overpay Kuzma. Just for anyone out there that was interested in trading for him, the Wizards were never going to trade him unless he said he wanted to leave. Every report, every interview he's done has said nothing about wanting to leave DC. It's always been about he wants to be in a place that can let him grow, let him continue to develop, And for a guy who's just now, let's say, almost a year into being a primary ball handler for the first time since his rookie year, the man is doing great stuff. There's a reason he's in the All-Star voting as high as he is. I think it was 7th the last time I saw. But the man just gives this team a lot. And it's not just the on-the-court stats that you guys see. This guy is the leader in the locker room because our coach has no real voice there. He is a de facto assistant GM because that's how we got DeLon in the first place. The man just does too much for this team. And if you saw the game yesterday, and a lot of y'all didn't, so I'll just tell you, here's why Kyle Kuzma is so great. The first half, barely touches the ball. It was a lot of just sharing the ball amongst everybody on the team. Everybody kind of ate that first half. Denny and Daniel Gafford especially just got in the paint and just terrorized little Dwight Powell. I feel sorry for the kid, to be honest. He has a great smile, I guess, but other than that, he's just a tall, light-skinned dude. You can't do too much with that otherwise. The second half, though, Kuz put on a show. I think it was 20-plus points he scored in the second half, but he turned into high-usage Kuz and he basically just took the game over at that point for the Wizards because they had shut down a lot of what we were doing in the first half with sharing the ball by essentially taking Daniel Gafford off the court because he was being drawn into ISO situations in space. And bullying Anthony Gill. And this was a game where this is our first game without Rui Hachimura, where we were going to be concerned with who was going to produce and whatnot. Kuz held up his end of the bargain. Brad was okay. The supporting cast came through pretty thoroughly. Will Barton had a nice little efficient 8-point night. Denny Avdia notched another double-double off the bench. And they said they moved Rui so Denny could have space. That's bullcrap. If you're in with the Wizards, just and follow them, it's bullcrap. But it's good to see that Denny was able to step up yesterday. And frankly, as has been the case for a while, we do not struggle against teams that don't have rim protection. Only reason that game was a game yesterday is because they played our rim protection off the court or they weren't even available. So I'm also a big supporter of Luka. I like jerk players that can back it up at least. So I respect the hell out of Luka. The rest of the Mavs, you're sorry. You're trash. I feel sorry for you because I don't see you winning the title as is. And honestly, you should have been the ones trading for Rui in the first place, but you screwed that up for whatever reason because you think Justin Hardy's too good. Who knows? Or Jaden Hardy's too good. But yeah, man, it's good to be on the good side, on the winning side when you can be in the morning. So I'm not here to say the Wizards should try to contend this year or even try to push for the playoffs. But wins like this are important when you can shut guys like Spencer Dinwiddie up, or at least you try to, and then Kuz has to go do it because that's our guy. That's our leader. He is Mr. DC to stay. Thank you.
All right. Give him a round of applause. I don't know if you can hear a couple people saying they're having issues. I hear it, and the setup is the normal setup, so everybody should hear it. So if you haven't heard any of the sound effects, that sucks for you because for me it sounds normal. But I got to figure out this new piece of equipment. It's definitely different. Shout out to Hater with the heart coming in strong with the Wizards love, and shout out to Jose and Rolo down below because they had to go through 34 minutes of Tim Hardaway Jr. 2 for 9 in 34 minutes for 5 points. Like, just imagine, like the Mavericks are waking up taking flack because Tim Hardaway Jr. couldn't go 3 for 9. 3 for 9. It's rough being a Mavs fan right now. If Jose or Rolo could squeeze some time in here, they can pop up. I'll let them get their thoughts in here. Anybody up here catch this game? I did watch the second half. I didn't watch the first half. Kyle Kuzma, I think, has found a home. And I do want to ask this question. Is Kyle Kuzma the best player on the Wizards? Because it's starting to look that way.
No.
He
can be.
Has been the whole year. I'm going to just say that. The whole year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, like, if that's the case, like, doesn't Kyle Kuzma's representatives go in and say, I want $36 million a year?
Not if he wants a place to play next year. No, sorry. That's not feasible. I think for most teams, that's not feasible unless you do like a sign and trade. Really, the ceiling for me is 28, although I've been hearing 30 lately. It's something he could ask for. 30 would be a tough swallow if they don't move KP, especially because he could just opt in and ruin everything. But somewhere, around 28 is ideal at this point. Nothing. He's not going to ask for anything less than 25, though. That's for damn sure at this point.
All right, so this is the good news, bad news part for the wonderful people who are Washington Wizards fans. Right now, by my standard, by my metric I use, he is the 11th best power forward. Right behind Bam Adebayo, who rounds out the top 10.
Chris, he's a center.
Bam also has enough time slotted at power forward too. So.
Oh, okay. Well, how much minutes are required for that?
Not that much. Not as many as you think to qualify. So anytime that you've seen Bam with Orlando Robinson or Dwayne Dedmon come in, if they pencil them at the 5 and they move him down at the 4, all of those minutes account. I think he's right now at almost double digits per game listed at power forward. Like, essentially, any time that he and Jimmy are playing and Jimmy's not on the floor, you bring in someone bigger, usually, and you keep Bam in for extra time. So he gets 2 minutes every quarter or so. Man, this is awesome. Like, it's a great day to talk basketball because a couple of people are saying down in the chat box, responding to EK and his take on NCAA action. And I just want to bring that out because in the chat box down below, if you can't come up and talk, there's always something going on there. And if you actually are a fan of college basketball as well, make sure you shoot EK a follow because he'll be coming aboard to do some writing, which reminds me I need to set up a group chat with him and Evan Moore. Yeah, I need to do that. All right. Wizards, I think, have a chance to beat out Chicago for the 10th seed or the Raptors for the 10th seed. But the biggest question is, can they beat out the Orlando Magic, who are also starting to find themselves? We're going to go to Micah for some thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to touch in next on that Charlotte professional basketball team for 90 seconds. And then we're going to talk about how the Clippers punked the Lakers, because that's what they did. They punked them. Micah, give us the Dallas Mavericks breakdown from last night.
Breakdown is we can't stop anybody. It's still the same thing. So that's why I'm like, a lot of the times it gets frustrating seeing some of my fellow fans. Like, we got dudes that can at least act like they want to play defense. But they put them in these trade machines for somebody that might get you a couple more buckets, but they're cones. You know what I'm saying? So, like, offense is not our problem. We can't stop anybody. So, like, me personally, I'd rather take my medicine if we're not trading for two-way players. As far as, look, Spencer is, he's a good basketball player, but he's best fitted as a six-man. That's what his career has been. So for him to keep on surfing back and forth, acting like he's more than that, yeah, that's kind of frustrating. However, I will say this. To pour some cold water on that, I want it to be remembered that Spencer Dinwiddie was looked at as a negative contract, right? Regardless of knowing, like, hindsight, what he could do for us in the playoffs concerning he was a negative contract. Who else was a negative contract? Davis Bertans. And a second, right?
I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie was viewed as a negative asset. Like Kyrie went out and he was giving you 22 and 6.
Right. But
at 18 mil.
Right. But in Washington, that's how he was viewed. Right? We're talking about Washington. What I'm getting at is we had to take on a bunch of bad paper and give up. That's why we couldn't trade for Rui, because we had to give up a second-round pick just to get them to take on Kristaps. We seen them in street clothes again last night. What has changed? Nobody is saving them, Chris. They are locked into that trio. Get ready. That's your decade of Washington Wizards. I hope it's fun. Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, and Kyle Kuzma. Maybe they'll lead you somewhere. Let's see. That's your trio. So
love it.
There you go.
All right, appreciate it. All right, some real quick Charlotte professional basketball team talk. They got into Phoenix. Phoenix jumped out to a 21-point lead in the first quarter. Cam Johnson was perfect through the first half. And they did this without Devin Booker, without DeAndre Ayton, and a Chris Paul who's still not completely healthy. Shout out to Bismack Biyombo getting some vengeance on the Charlotte Hornets. Got the start last night, played 31 minutes, 6 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, and 5 blocks. Bismack Biyombo is too good of a player to be troubled by the Charlotte professional basketball team, outdueling Mason Plumlee, who had 17, 6, and 4. Terry Rozier had 19 points on 33% shooting. Jaden McDaniels is continuing his ascent into the starting lineup. 15 and 10 for a double-double, 2 steals. A little bit handsy, though. Just ticky-tack fouls. Nick Richards has returned. He had 17 minutes outpacing Mark Williams. He had 4 points and 3 blocks. Mark Williams only got 6. James Bouknight has been relegated to 6 minutes. Kai Jones has 6 minutes. JT Thor had 6 minutes. Bryce McGowan's, though, he had 22. He was 2 for 8. And Steve Clifford has now officially no idea what to do for the rest of the season. You're still without Kelly Oubre and Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball. And, it's just bad basketball. Shout out to Dennis Smith Jr., 27 minutes off the bench, 8 points on 4-13. Malika, did I miss anything about the Charlotte Professional Hornets?
No, I'm not even paying attention to them this season. The injuries are ridiculous. That hasn't helped here at all. I just see this as a awful gap year, and I'll look at them next season. That's it. I'm up here because of the Clippers. I have nothing to say on the Hornets because play the young guys, get them some experience, and move on. That's all I say.
Play the kids.
Just play them.
Throw them all in there.
Throw them all in there. They'll learn, and they'll help you next year. There's no point in putting in veterans at this point. Just let it go and look.
Can we put the proverbial fork into James Bouknight time in Charlotte? He can't beat Bryce McGowan.
He should have stayed in college. He should have been bought out. He's been a problem since. He's been a problem. Last year was looking Borrego, wasn't playing. We see why Borrego wasn't playing him. He wasn't ready. He's still not ready, and he's still dealing with issues. So he's an issue. So.
There were certain fans of the Charlotte professional basketball team who did not like my, quote, grandstanding for Borrego, end quote. Maybe Borrego wasn't the problem after all.
Well, but there was something going on with some of the veterans, though. I don't know about that, but I will say they needed a new voice in the locker room because some people were tuning out. We're tuning out Borrego, and he didn't have that same, voice and punch, but it's all good. I mean, at the end of the day, we are where we are. Let's move on.
All right. The Phoenix Suns had the PJ Tucker Award winner for last night, Torrey Craig, 22 minutes, 0 points, 9 boards. The PJ Tucker
He was
Award.
still effective.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Still effective.
Hey man. Now boards counts for something. You don't always got to put up astronomical numbers to impact the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Just look at Ben Simmons, right?
Wow. You just had to do that. That's crazy. I mean, just catching bullets, straight bullets. That's crazy.
Hey, I'm the one who's saying he's back. I'm the one putting out the apology letter for
No, but
Nets
when you
Twitter
do
to
things
hop
like
Yeah, you
on.
this,
see what
it's
he
with an
doing, right?
ulterior motive.
Trying to get the spaces
It's an
riled up.
ulterior motive, and I get it. And like the Nets
An,
don't play
an
good tonight, but
ulterior motive?
we still have to get to the Clippers in the
I
league.
have zero ulterior motive. I'm
He's
just
Okay.
pointing
always been a
out that Ben
Laker, not
Simmons
the
is
Clippers.
back.
He's still not. My
Okay.
boy's still not 100%. I don't like this name.
I'm not going there with you, Chris.
All
I'm
right.
not going there
Yeah.
with you, Chris.
There you
With
go. There you go,
like
Malika.
All right.
with Chris
Hey.
with sports, I'm not. That he's not 100%.
Huh?
I maybe not, but I need more. He should be playing better than he is.
Yo,
Man,
it's
No,
Chris.
she's
it takes
agreeing
it's
with
a
you. She's agreeing with
it's a
you.
blind man. A blind man could see that he's not really 100% out there.
No,
Like, come
so
on.
I'm sorry. He is back.
I
His
mean,
his
you
per
can
minute
say no
numbers are the
excuse because he's
same.
playing, but
He is back.
you can tell he not really 100%.
All right. Well, Akil is Ben Simmons back, Akil?
No, he stinks.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I'm not saying he doesn't stink. I'm not saying he does stink. I'm saying he's back.
Akil, did you play organized ball?
Yeah, I
How
did.
good were you?
What do you mean? How good
Yeah,
was
I'm
I?
just asking.
Like what type of
That has
question is
nothing to
How
do
is that
that?
with
not a good
this.
question?
Like it's not. It's subjective.
I
Like
mean,
I could think
yeah,
I'm
but
good, but like in reality, I suck. Like who knows? That's
hey, man, I'm just saying, like,
Ben Simmons in his last 9 games is averaging 29 minutes, 6.7 boards, 8 assists per game. If you adjust it up to 32, he is averaging 11 and 7 with 3 blocks, 3 steals. Like, what are we doing here? He's back.
yeah,
Y'all not winning
but
without KD.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. KD's
Really,
that good.
hey, you know what the Lakers could use, man? Chris? They could use Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma. That's what they could really use on their roster this year right now. Kentavious Caldwell Pope shooting 50-something% from 3 too. Man,
Russo
a lot of
injury
those guys
prone
look
though.
really good.
So the internet is undefeated. I'm gonna get this post up here. This is not my original picture. The person I got it from, it wasn't their original picture. But the last time that we saw these 4 players together, they were on the Wizards, and Russell Westbrook took the Wizards to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. Russell Westbrook, Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown, and Mr. Thomas Bryant were all part of that Wizards team that went to the play-in or playoffs. Remember? Like we left them for dead, and Russell Westbrook carried the carcass of the Washington Wizards to the play-in. Remember that team? That's the Los Angeles Lakers minus Anthony Davis. That is right. The picture is up there on the big board. You have Russell Westbrook, Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown, and Thomas Bryant. I ask of the floor, if the Lakers now don't make the playoffs, will you finally admit to Russell Westbrook's greatness? They lost last night to the Clippers 133-115. Kawhi Leonard, 25 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Paul George, 27, 9, and 4. They had contributions from Terrence Mann, Norm Powell, Reggie Jackson, Robert Covington, and the ageless wonder, Nicholas Batum. Vika Zubac didn't really have that great of a game, but the Lakers were putrid. Absolutely putrid. LeBron James was the lone bright spot, 9 for 14 from deep, 16 for 29 from the floor, 46 points total. Another phenomenal game wasted away to the annals of history of the Rob Pelinka year, Los Angeles Lakers. But we will go to the Clippers first. Malika wanted to hop in and speak some Clippers love. Malika, the floor is yours.
Oh, just real quick. The Clippers, they were a team I was looking forward to watching this year, and they pretty much held Kawhi and Paul George play intermittently, and we're on the injured list quite a bit. And I'm expecting to see them a lot more with the Clippers having, I think, only one back-to-back left through the rest of the season. So I'm expecting to see more Kawhi, and I have tickets to see them when they play the Nets. So I'm like, okay, I will go to that game because I see them playing more since there are no back-to-backs. But it does suck that for most of the season until now, it was just now they're going to be, like they'll be better because they'll be in the lineup consistently. But up until now, it was like Russian roulette, what team you were going to get on the floor. But watching them last night, like Kawhi and Paul George, they definitely were effective on both ends of the court. Reggie Jackson was great. So it's going to be interesting watching the Lakers, though, with AD coming back. I'm hoping he can stay healthy. And with Rui in the lineup, it's going to be great to see the Lakers at full tilt and see what they look like and whether they can make a run. But the Clippers look good, but it's disappointing how they handled the season thus far.
All right. Last 8 games, Kawhi Leonard is averaging 36.6 minutes per game, 29 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 93 from the free throw line, 47 from 3, 56 from the floor. It is absolutely a phenomenal
last 8
stretch.
games he played.
Yeah, the last 8 games he played.
Yeah, I'm a Kawhi fan. But like I said, I enjoyed last night's game, and I see this as moving forward. His minutes will be more regular as we go through this January to, whatever. But they should have some rested legs. So we'll see. We'll see if this strategy benefited them when we get to the playoffs. But I enjoyed watching last night.
Yeah, he's played, I think, every game but 2, I think, in January.
Right, but it's January. You get my point, Chris. Like, it's
January.
I'm
just saying. Like, all I can do is say for the last 8 games, he's been phenomenal. We'll go to John, and then we'll bring in Mike from the OC. John, your team won 133, 18 or 113, something like that. I don't know. They lost 115. What did you see? What do you take away from it? And then after you, we'll go to Mike from the OC.
Well, I enjoyed that game, although it was a little scary seeing LeBron just become, omnipotent in that fourth and the second half. But I liked how the team basically just cruised along. They were hot from 3 early on, and they basically used that and to build a buffer, and then they get sort of kind of gave away the third to the Lakers, and then when LeBron just became omnipotent in the fourth quarter early on, and they just survived, and that's the important thing. And I think Paul George emphasized that in the press conference afterwards that it's still a process. We're getting there. I mean, everybody's trying to get healthy. Unfortunately, Marcus got the abdominal issue that will probably keep him sidelined, but that's fine. I mean, we had good production finally from Reggie and Norm. Norm's on a hot one right now, so we'll take that. I'm just very you just have to be patient with us, so with them, and they gave us a good result. Well, hopefully we can keep it up, and that's the important thing. Considering as what Sean with W always says, the Western Conference is mid, and we're just just outside the 3 seed, I think, and we can still get there. We just need some luck, so to speak. There you go.
All right, appreciate it, John. Right now, the Clippers are 26-24. They are 3 games. No, actually, they are 3.5 because Sacramento it's an unbalanced schedule right now. The league is trying to balance it out before the All-Star game. One has an odd number, one has an even number. Mike from the OC, the Lakers lost another phenomenal game by LeBron James. Just forgotten. You had Thomas Bryant and Russell Westbrook as the only other two Lakers scoring in double figures. And Thomas Bryant and Wayne Gabriel were really the only front court players of any note to help support LeBron. What do you got?
Chris, what I got is the Clippers usually, I don't know what it is when they play the Lakers. I know what it is. They treat this game as their finals because that's all they got because they're never making the finals. So this is always the finals for the Clippers. This is always the finals for this bum-ass organization. You know what's funny, Chris? You know what they should do? They should put a banner up at Crypto. We've won blank in a row versus the Lakers. You could put 10 because all they got is that Western Conference finalist banner. Cover up all our jerseys, cover up all our titles, cover up all the great history. Congratulations. You're beating us in the regular season again, which means absolutely nothing. You know, because bottom line is it's 1-82. Yeah, they're beating us. Yeah, they look like world beer. You know, it's amazing. When they play us, you got Ty Lue, former Laker, Brian Shaw on the bench, former Laker, Jerry West, don't even get me started in the front office. You got Paul George from LA. You got Kawhi Leonard from LA. There's a lot of anti-Laker sentiment there that they go so hard. They play and Norman Powell, don't forget Norman Powell, San Diego, UCLA. They go so hard. They were making shots last night, Chris. I think it was out of that Larry Bird McDonald's commercial, throwing it off the top freaking row. It hits the floor and into the basket. I mean, no matter what they throw up, winning. I'm like, what are we doing out there? And we couldn't guard anybody. The defense was atrocious. That's been the Lakers' problem. Defense in the paint, guarding the three, transition. TB can't play defense very well. Look, he's good on the offensive end. He can't move his feet. It's still a work in progress. So what we need is this. You know what we need? The Brow. He's returning. He covers up a lot of deficiencies. He is like 3 players, not 1, not 2. He could literally cover the defense. I mean, this guy is so like transitional from offense to defense. So we get him back. We get Lonnie back, hopefully. We get Austin back, hopefully. We send Pat Bev down. I don't know where we send Pat Bev. This is absolutely ridiculous. Pat Bev's guarding Paul George. Chris, what are we doing out there? What is Darvin doing out there? I mean, it's pretty much playing with.
Well, who's he supposed to put out there?
Not Pat Bev. Okay, if I see Pat Bev, by the way, he's definitely in the list of the most unpopular Lakers of all time. He's up there with Smush Parker. This guy is literally up there, Chris. We despise Pat. Listen, funny guy, character guy. If I see one more time where he commits a foul, puts his hand up, I'm going to drive down to Crypto and drag him off the floor. I cannot take that stupid hand going up when he's freaking knocking the guy 90 feet away from the basket. No, this guy, it's ridiculous what's going on. I don't know if it was a favor. It's in the contract. You play me. We play you and Dennis together, which is terrible. Put Max Christie out there. Mix it up. Do not have Dennis and Pat Bev on the court getting all these minutes with Russ. It's ridiculous. We're not going to win games. So anyhow.
All right.
We get AD back. We'll see what happens. Good for the Clippers to win a game. Good for you. You know what the Clippers' problem is?
See, the funny part is if the Lakers had won, gonna be totally different.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Chris, I could care less because I'm about titles. I could care what happened.
No. I understand what you're saying, but you're not understanding what I'm saying. Like the take on the Clippers would be different because you would be eviscerating them right now.
I still do. I don't care. I'll eviscerate them all the time because they have no fans. It's $20 a ticket there. It's $200 a ticket for a Laker game. You get it. There's no jerseys here for Clippers. I mean, I just want people to understand the Clippers are in LA. And for after the game, Clipper Darrell, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy. He's like the #1 Clipper fan out here for years. He was on TNT last night. Why is TNT stooping so low to put Clipper Darrell on? What are you doing? Clipper Darrell, I got to see on my TV talking Clippers saying they're making inroads in LA.
Hey, Mike.
You got to be kidding me. That's a freaking joke. You're never making inroads here. Never. Never. Never.
Clipper Darrell
and I tell the truth. I don't say anything but the truth. 65 years old.
Yeah, Clipper Darrell is not the fan he once was, Mike. Mike,
he should be embarrassed.
Mike, chill. Clipper Darrell is no longer the fan representative. He's just the name. Like the fan base in LA has grown. And that's the problem, is that people don't want to admit it. And what we're having is you stuck in your world.
Chris, with all due respect, where do you live? You live back east, right?
Yeah, no, I live in the Midwest, but I've lived in
It hasn't
California.
grown, Chris. That's
It's
absolute
grown.
bullshit. No, it
It's
hasn't.
not like they
Chris,
track it by
they charge
merchandising
$20 a
sales, they
ticket.
track it
Okay,
by
hold on.
season ticket holders,
There's
and they
empty
track it by
seats.
gate, Mike. Well,
Chris,
no,
they
it
charge.
could be
Hold on,
empty seats, Mike. It's LA. They have the same
Chris.
problem like
We don't.
Miami.
No.
Oh,
Staples is always full
no.
for
I'm
Laker
sorry.
games. Chris, let
Staples
me tell you
has
something.
been empty before, Mike.
No. I went to the Sixer Laker game. How much did I pay for a ticket a few weeks ago?
Well, I don't know. I don't pocket watch. Like
200.
Okay.
How much? Okay, 2 nights later, the Clippers played the Sixers. How much was that same seat?
Again, I don't
20.
know. I don't pocket watch. What I'm saying is
demand. Why
what
you
I'm
charge
saying
me
is
$20 a
you
ticket?
are
They haven't
you
grown shit.
Mike, your problem is you're stuck on it being at the Yes, you are.
I'm not stuck, Chris. No one cares about them here. You will not see one jersey.
You literally say the same thing. It means you're stuck. I'm telling you, they are selling more merchandise and more tickets. That means they're growing. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Chris, that is absolute.
It's what?
Chris,
wait.
Are you drinking
We have to agree on a basic mathematical principle. Okay? Does 1 + 1 = 2?
You're going to say the Clippers are
Just
making inroads
answer
on the
the question.
Lakers?
I don't need an equivocation like if I'm teaching. All
But
I
together-
need is does 1 + 1 = 2? Yes or no?
As far as I know, it does.
Okay. So does 2 + 1 = 3?
Okay, where are we going with this math equation?
So if they continue to increase by 1, they're growing.
What have they won?
Who cares? The argument
who
was they
cares?
weren't
No one
growing
gives a
when they're growing.
Chris, no one gives a shit if you're second place here. This town's all about winners. We don't give a shit about second place. The Dodgers, the Lakers, when the Rams, we don't care about runner-up shit. You got to be entertaining and win. They haven't had it. They never will. They got those dumbass blue, whatever the hell, Western Conference Finals. How do you compete against 32 trips to the finals?
You hate is just it's just not healthy.
I'm just being honest.
It's just not healthy. All right, we gotta move
I
on.
want to say one more thing.
30 seconds.
I want to see them play the same game against Orlando Magic. This team is so freaking inconsistent. They look great against us. 2 nights later, they look like dog crap. They
I'm just
cannot
piping
keep
in
the
to say that
consistency.
Los Angeles
Consistency.
loves
It's an
losers.
utter joke with this organization. Why are they only 2 over 500?
Well,
full of
are you
frauds.
consistent as well?
Come on,
I'm
man.
just going to throw back
Be
the
honest.
question to you.
No trolling. I'm just being honest.
See, I've got like 3 people saying stuff, and I'm sitting here looking at
Can I
Chris
just say
Porter
something real
laughing.
quick? Mike, this is the only thing I have to, I love you, Mike, but I feel like
Yeah, I'm gonna do that so I can reset. Hey,
can I
like,
just say something real quick?
yeah,
I feel
go.
like, Mike, you harp.
Well, I don't think they heard you.
What'd you say,
I feel like you harp so much on the Clippers because the Lakers aren't going anywhere this year, right? So the only thing Laker fans have is that they can harp on the Clippers. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Clippers. I'm not a fan of the Lakers.
Winning titles
It's just you're going so
But that's
hard on them,
see,
Mike.
there
And I
you
love
go
you, Mike,
again.
but
There you
why?
go again.
If
You're
you don't
stuck in your
care,
world.
why go there to that extent? Like
Because
I know you detest the Clippers.
There's zero.
But man, you go
Stuck in the mud. In the mud, you are stuck. The mud is Clippers, and you are stuck in the mud. You cannot get unstuck from the mud. You keep going back to the 80s. That's 43 years ago. I was born in the 80s.
2010. Chris, 32 trips to the final, 17
See,
titles.
you're doing it again.
Chris, I'm just saying.
You're doing it again.
This is
Everybody
so
talks
sad.
about the Lakers day
Nick.
and night, no matter what around this
Yeah,
country. We know the
hop in,
Lakers
Nick.
run the NBA. Come on, we all know that. Lakers
Mike,
run
you gotta stop. You gotta stop, dog.
I'm not stopping with the shit.
Like,
What are you
no,
talking
I
about?
mean, you have to stop pretending that another team's
Pretending
not good
what?
because your team has a
You're not
history of
good.
greatness. That's
You're
okay.
not freaking good.
Let him finish, Mike.
You're
Let
a
him
piece of shit
finish.
organization.
Dog, you sound like a child. You sound like a child. This is a childish
Who that for
thing
you,
you're
man?
doing. Me? My
What are
name's
you,
Nicholas
Clipper
Tuff.
fan?
I'm not a Clipper fan. But I did
Then
cover
they're
the
bullshit
NBA
here.
for the last 5 years, and I ran an NBA
5
pregame
years.
show on
You've been watching 5
ESPN.
years?
And
You've been watching
I've
5
been
years.
watching.
Mike,
I've been watching
Mike,
since the
let him
80s,
talk.
the decade you're talking about.
And
All right, like don't tell me that LA only cares about championships and doesn't care about
It's
second place.
true.
I watched you
Where are you
wear
from?
Kobe jerseys for years when the team was trash and he was shooting 30% from three. Like, it's okay. Every team has great
But what
periods
preceded that?
and then bad periods. No, yes, and then what came after?
Greatness.
Like time. This is how it works. And
It's
so
not like
right
Nick.
now,
Nick,
one team is struggling,
They're never
and
going to
one
be
team like
anything
has a
here. You
little
can't
more
compete
juice, and
against
that's
the Lakers.
okay.
You can't.
But they do, right? Did they just play a game?
$20 a ticket to go.
So what? But who's
That means
the
no
better
one
team
gives a
right
shit
now?
about them, Nick. We're charging 200. They charge
See,
20.
Well,
I'm
that's
trying to
not
understand.
what
I'm
it
trying to make you
means.
guys understand.
Mike,
No
the
one
the
cares about
problem
this
is, Mike,
organization.
you can't make people understand
You guys
if you
do.
all if no, listen. You can't make people understand if all you're doing is repeating the same point and the people already give you the point and they're telling you that the point doesn't have the same weight it once did.
So
That's
why
the
are we
problem.
asking? Why are we
So
asking ESPN
every time,
your
ESPN every week?
yeah,
Why are we talking about spaces
The
all day long?
problem, Mike, is like every time that I give you a fact, you don't want to accept the fact.
Okay,
like,
give me a fact.
The fact is the Clippers fan base has grown exponentially.
That's a zero. I don't agree.
You don't have to agree because there are facts behind it. That's the problem, Mike. You're stuck in your bubble.
Television games than they ever have before. They're getting more national television games right now than they ever have before.
Jesus Christ.
They're selling more merchandise than they ever have before. They're selling more tickets than they ever have before.
This is like one of these weird things. You sound like a Cowboys fan. Nobody's saying that the great periods weren't great,
Cowboys,
or that the
let's be honest here. We got the 17 titles.
Nobody's
Cowboys ain't
not
nice thing going
saying
there
that.
too.
Nobody's
We've won more recently than the Cowboys.
Nobody is saying that
Still
the brand
irrelevant.
is not the best in basketball. Nobody's saying that. But we can also say that the Clippers fan base has grown, that the team has improved, and that's not actually a referendum on the Lakers. It's not.
Independent of it.
It's completely independent. The only person who makes it a referendum on the Lakers are Laker fans, are people who get on this app and scream and pretend that like the fan base hasn't grown. It has. And there's a lot of data points to prove it. And that shouldn't make you feel like you got a pocket watch or you got to like guard your grill. It has nothing to do with you.
Which, by the way, I can't wait for their own new arena to open up.
Do you live out here? Yeah, I could wait for that. Hey, Nick, do you live out here? Nick?
Me, I've been splitting time for the last 5 years covering the team.
How many Clipper jerseys you seen out here in Southern California last?
But see, there you go again. You're doing that again.
Chris, you said the fan base grew.
Yes. The fan base grew. They're selling more merchandise. They're selling more tickets. They're getting more games on it.
$20 a ticket. You go into going to see the opposite team as usual. When Jordan came here, people went to the sports arena to see Jordan.
Like you can't out talk. Like you gotta stop. Like when you have a debate and there are two sides. Like if you filibuster, eventually all you're doing is weakening your position. Because the filibuster is designed expressly to continue a debate with 0 point, right? The other side can come in with points, and like the points hit, like you're getting hit like across from Mike Tyson. Like there's a right hand that is coming overhand, and you can't avoid it. You think you're avoiding it, but like you're literally getting hit with a right cross every time you deny the fact the Clippers fan base is growing. Like every time. No, it's not. Boom, right cross. Yes, it is. Like it is. It's growing in California, in the US, and internationally. You just don't like it. All right, I got 2 minutes. I gotta hit this button.
Love you, Chris. That's funny though. Thank you.
Have a good one, Mike. Hey, Lakers fans in a way, man. Look, they down bad. They're gonna be down bad
Chris,
for a while.
I got one more for you. What's been a better duo, AD and LeBron or Paul George and Kawhi?
The better duo has been Steph and Clay. See, I can do it too.
Shit out of here. No,
the better duo has been Giannis and Chris Middleton.
Kawhi and PG.
The better duo has been Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
No. I'm comparing LA duos. Who's better?
No, I'm comparing duos in basketball.
Well, LeBron and AD are the best. So let's just face
Yeah,
it.
well, they weren't last year, were they?
They were injured last year. When they're
They
healthy,
weren't
they're the best.
2 years ago. They were 3
Why are
years ago.
you
They
giving
weren't.
excuses, Mike?
When they're healthy, they're the best.
Why are you giving
Okay.
excuses?
Yeah, because he's a
The
Lakers fan.
excuses,
Like
guys.
that's what they have to do. Like
You know.
it's hard
We run
when
the
you're
NBA.
staring into the abyss. Like they are literally staring into the abyss. They have a 38-year-old superstar, and they have AD. What else they got? Like literally 2 years away from irrelevancy unless they fix the roster. That's what Mike is doing. He's projecting his future self because he sees it. He sees the fact that they gonna run another team with Nick the Quick and Cedric Sabalas, and they gonna win games 30.
I see some Laker animosity here, Chris.
Nah, it's not Laker animosity.
It's that East Coast Lakers animosity rearing its
Nah, it's
around the country. But
it's
Mike,
not.
can I
It's
say
okay.
that I'm a Nets fan and I could care
We
less
know
what
who
happens
we
with the
are.
Knicks? I could care less what happens with the Knicks. I don't give a damn. It doesn't matter to
You
me
guys
at
are
all
like the
because it's not my
Clippers
team.
to the
I
Knicks
don't
to win the
care.
best.
So I don't
Yeah.
understand why care about the Clippers. You're the Lakers. Why care? I don't care about the Knicks.
Because look,
It's all good.
I'm telling you, we don't care. I'm telling you, this is who they are, and this is
see,
who
but
we are.
again, Mike, the
But
fact that
they're
you
So don't
just
get
said
excited
that
about
proves
it.
you care.
Don't
That's
get excited about
that's the problem. The fact that you keep talking about the Clippers proves you care, which then nullifies the point you're about to make about you not caring. Then you lose credibility. Then you sound crazy. That's how it works. Like I'm trying to save you from yourself. I'm your conscience. Remember that Jamie Foxx bit? I'm Jamie Foxx right now. I'm your conscience right now. You're going to have to just accept it. Like, it's over. It's just over. And ladies and gentlemen, so's the show. Man, that was contentious close. Clippers and Lakers, man. Who finishes with the better record? That's the question that should have been asked and answered. Who finishes with a better record? Lakers or Clippers? I guess we'll talk about that tomorrow. We got basketball tonight. Indiana at Orlando, Brooklyn at Philly tonight, 7:30 on ESPN. The battle of Joel Embiid versus Kyrie Irving, because like I was gonna say Ben Simmons, but like Nets fans are done with me talking about Ben Simmons, let me tell you. He's back tonight. Maybe. We'll see. Washington at Houston. Washington looking to go on a win streak to challenge for the play-in. Denver at Milwaukee. Minnesota, New Orleans. Atlanta, OKC. Memphis and Golden State. Your 10 o'clock game on ESPN. It's a full slate this Wednesday. You'll have 3 more games to choose from at your 10 o'clock hour. Utah, Portland, Toronto, Sacramento, 10 on League Pass. And the league closes out tonight, 10:30 in LA. The Spurs are at the Lakers. And let me tell you, if the Lakers lose, this will be absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. Back tomorrow, 10 a.m. If you are out on your bike, don't be. It's cold and wet. It's like nasty out here. Peace out. Whew. Brutal. What's up, Nick? How you doing? Go ahead, JF. Yeah, what's up? What's up?
Nah, we're missing JB. He was supposed to be here today with his rant, but 2 days in a row, back-to-back losses. We're the Celtics fans.
Oof. Hard hitter. Unpopular. PDX, go.
Listen, man, that was crazy how it ended. I understand the bias on both sides. I've lived in Los Angeles verbatim, and I would have to agree with Mike. You know, he's from the OC, and it's like the city split down the middle. The East Side is Clippers, West Side is Laker fans, and I don't care what day of the week it is, who has that yellow jersey on. There is no way that the city itself, from Figueroa all the way down to Seventh, they're not Clippers fans. It's weird when they show up, and they need that stadium in Inglewood because it's probably better for them over there. But as far as LA, downtown LA, West Side, that's not a Clippers town. It's not a idea of history. It's literally
the expectations that Mike was talking about, that's literally happening. And that will not change because the Clippers have done what? Even this year. If we compare both teams, even this year with the depth that they have, we all expect for the Clippers to be better than what they are. Why aren't they that?
No.
Let's be current.
The real issue is we are paying for the basketball bubble from the 80s, right? Like, so if we look back at the top teams, there was a bubble, and that was because the NBA was not a great product. So when you go through 40 to 50 years of indoctrination, that's just all it is. Fandom is an indoctrination to your favorite team. That's really what fandom is, right? We bleed our colors, we chant our chants, whether it's football, soccer, basketball, or baseball. It's just a little bit different. Nick, what's up, man? How you doing? A little overtime. I was hoping he had a point so he didn't have to shout. With no shouting match. All right, maybe next time. I'm looking forward to the Brooklyn Sixers game. I really am. I'm hoping that my son's swimming practice is canceled so I can watch it. I actually happen to think that Philadelphia will win tonight. All right, there you go. Now I can actually hit the actual outro theme and have a clean outro because I just kind of wanted to have a nice clean outro. Brought to you by slamgoods.com. Man, I tell you, it's going to be pretty cool when I can edit all this in one sit down. Head over to slamgoods.com and pick up a measure of fandom. What do you mean by a measure of fandom, Chris? Well, like you just heard one extreme. Let's be the other extreme. Let's celebrate all basketball. That's one thing that's great about slamgoods.com is that's exactly what they do. So if you want to go and you want to be a fan, you can pick up a Memphis Grizzlies Ja Morant cover. But if you're a fan of basketball, why don't you go ahead and pick up that Kobe Bryant trilogy or the LeBron James duo with the dedication piece when he went back to Akron. Like, that was dope. If you're an AI fan, they got AI. They have Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, so much that they can pick that you can pick up for your own fandom and relive the moments that were cool for you growing up, like I do. All right, there you go. That's the show. Be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Peace out.